Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin the MMA Impact in 15 minutes. Please enter the ballroom area and be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin the MMA Impact in 5 minutes. Please enter the ballroom area and be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our event will start shortly. We would like to invite all of you to kindly move toward the ballroom and have your seats. Thank you.
Trang quay lại, Trang.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin the MMA Impact in 5 minutes. Our event will start shortly. We would like to invite all of you to kindly move toward the ballroom and have your seat. Thank you.
Rồi bây giờ cho ra ngoài hả?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to MMA Impact Vietnam. We will start in 5 minutes. Please turn your phone to silent mode. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start MMA Impact soon. Please come into the ballroom. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your phone to silent mode. We will start the program soon. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to MMA Impact Vietnam 2022. Please turn your phone to silent mode and let's begin.
Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. I think that I just talked to Jessica that I'm so happy that I can go into the stage by my own with no MC. And actually, that I would like to introduce myself. So I'm working for Unilever Vietnam, and I'm the co-chair of MMA Vietnam. That's why that I have the great honor today to open the event. And I would like to, first of all, I would like to warm welcome all of you, the top leader and the top expert from more than 200 companies working in the marketing industry of Vietnam to join to participate into, I believe that one of the most expecting events in 2022 is MMA Impact Vietnam. Yeah. And I believe that all of you already know very well about what is an MMA Impact. But I would like to take the chance to repeat again. So MMA Impact is an annual international series hosted by MMA Global. And the event to be held to get the updating on the marketing and advertising landscape. And it's also provided with the delegate lucrative access into all the key insight and tools to help us to navigate all the key trends in the industry. And as well as is the chance for us to be set on all the modern marketing initiative and all the digital marketing innovation as well. Yeah, and for today, MMA Impact Vietnam, so I would like to thank you and welcome more than 30 international speakers who are the top leaders, come from the different company in the industry, from the brand agency, from the media agency, the telecommunication company, and the publisher as well. To share with us not just only, I think, the global standard of MMA impact, but also, I think, all the best practice and the key implications specific for Vietnam market. And I think it's more important. We are in the big room here with all, I think, the top leader and the expert in the industry. It's a chance for us to know each other, to get engaged, to discuss about a hot topic, what's happening in Vietnam right now, and together we save the future. So once again, I would like to thank you again, all the speakers, all the partners, all the board members of MMA Vietnam who already endorse and support for the event happen today. And last but not least, today is Vietnam Women's Day. So I would like to wish all of the women and also the men, because I believe, we need to have the men to make the women happy today. So thank you all of you to joining and enjoy the day. So I would like to over to Jessica, the MMA Vietnam head, I think to continue and open the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miss Mai. Good morning, everybody. So myself, I'm very honored to welcome all of you again to MMA Impact Vietnam this year. And I must say that we have take 3 months to prepare that, and you really make it happen today. So I would like to thank you again on behalf of MMA Vietnam and Asia Pacific as well. So just like Mrs. Mai also share on my thought about the event and what happened with industry. So today agenda, you will have a chance to meet up with more than 30 speakers in different industry. So I think very good opportunity for each of you to learn from each other. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank yous again to all our board member MMA Vietnam who really active to support MMA for last 11 years. Right now 11 years already in Vietnam market. And also especially our partner who really make it happen for this event. So we would like to thank you on the presenting partner, Google, Crab, program partner, Digital Turbine, Meta, corporate partner at Micro, Cop, MGID, and Momo, and on other partners as well. So we have a long list of the partner. Thank you so much for cocktail partner Coca-Cola and on support team partner, PR partner, hybrid event partner, gift partner, media partner, and wood display partners as well. So just like we have a long list, so please give big support to all of them. And a special, this is hero of our today event. We would like to thank you, a huge appreciation to all our esteemed speaker who will make it happen in this morning section and in afternoon section as well. So please give peace applause for all the speakers who support us, who bring very interesting content for all of us for today's event. Please. Speaker, okay, and I want to tell you one thing that will happen in November, that we are going to host very special event and just a very new program that we make it happen this year only. That is Smarty Showcase. So what it is, we will gather on the goal campaign of the Smarty this year. We will have a showcase event where you have the chance to interact with the brand about how they can run very good campaign like this and get a gold winner at MMA Smarty for this year. So I think very good opportunity for each of you to learn and to know how to challenge and how to solve up everything to get very, very effective like that. And also have a storytelling. This is one of other things that will combine with the Smarty Showcase. Okay, so this will happen on 17 November. I want every one of you to have a chance to sign up. It will be published on the website MMA Global. We will share with all of you after this event too. Yeah? Okay, and right now, I have one very special news to all of you. One very different that you see from every event that we happen for 11 years. We have a special host for today's program. I would like to present to all of you our Managing Director, MMA Asia Pacific, Mr. Rohit Datwar, will be the host for whole program today. Thank you so much and welcome him.
Thank you.
Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, that sounds good. So, as Jessica said, this is something different. We attempted something different. We always try and do something different. So, I'm your host for the day. I'm going to help you navigate the day, work through the speaker agenda, make sure that the points that are being made, the effort the speakers have put in is really recognized. We'll try and make this event a little bit more interactive than it has been in the past. I would encourage you guys to ask questions to speakers at the end of their session. Also, if you have any points, anything that you would like to discuss, please do make sure that you voice your opinion. On behalf of MMA, also I would like to thank all of you for making the time to be here. These events are successful because of the participation of all the delegates, the learnings that they take away, and what they implement in the market to help build the industry and build the future, as we say, shape the future for advertising and marketing. A couple of points that I do want to stress on. We do have the Smarties in the evening, so we'll try and keep up the time. We'll make sure that we finish the agenda on time. So one of the things that I would encourage you is whenever the breaks are happening, just be back on time so that we don't get delayed with that from a house rule perspective. The second is, if you do have questions, please raise your hand and somebody on the team will get the mic across to you and we'll get those questions and engagement going. So one of the things that I am trying to do, again, slightly different, is to introduce the speakers not by their titles, but by who they are outside of their title. So just to start, give you a context, I like to watch a Netflix show called Connected. I don't know how many people have seen that. Anybody in the Connected? If you've not, please see that. It's a show which talks about how the planet is totally connected, how things happen on this planet that we live in. When I saw the first episode, I could not imagine that the weather in US or the Atlantic Ocean can be predicted by the birds that migrate from US to Latin America. It's very interesting. I am also a fan of Marvel comics. I have watched every possible Marvel comic episode, TV series, movie that is there. In that spirit, my first speaker today is Mr. Leonardo Garcia, who's the general manager of Coca-Cola. But more importantly, he's reading a book called Factfulness. Factfulness is about how you avoid all the fake news, how you avoid everything that's going around and base your decisions, base your reading, etc., around facts. He's also an avid watcher of Netflix show called Breaking Bad. Anybody seen that? Yeah. So some of you can relate to that. So I would like to invite Mr. Leonardo Garcia on the stage to talk about the first topic, sustainability in marketing, then, now, and in the future. Leonardo, stage is all yours. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Hello, hello. Before I start, let me start by saying that Coca-Cola embraces inclusivity, and we are proud to say that 70% of our employees today in Vietnam are women. And here's the Coca-Cola team. You can stand up and show, actually in this table is 90% women. So happy Women's Day, and we are proud to say that we bring inclusivity to life. So today I'm here to talk about sustainable marketing. But before I do, I want to say that it's a real magic to be here. It's a real magic because I know that we all went through difficult times. In the last 2 years, COVID hit us hard in Vietnam. It was tough not only from the corporate, but also for the personal lives of everyone. So this is the first MMA Impact after COVID. So it's actually real magic to be here today. And the second thing I want to say before I start is acknowledge all the hard work that marketing has been done. And marketing more than ever contributes to and the essential function on our business success and for the society betterment. But then let's talk about sustainable marketing. Sustainable marketing is not about sustainability. I'm sorry. It's part of sustainable marketing, talking about sustainability, but it's not only about that. It's about branding, building, and create relevant brands in a long-term perspective for consumers. And Coca-Cola is a very good example of sustainable marketing, because we have been, in the last 136 years, consistently relevant to our consumers, going through all the different generations on the last century. And you can see that Coca-Cola, from 1886 until now, have kept some of the iconicities and some of the brand connecting to the consumers since then, but also adapting throughout the journey and adapting throughout the different generations. Talking about iconicity, right? Who doesn't know this brand here in this room? Raise your hand, please. Or maybe let me ask differently. Who knows this brand? Please raise your hand. So that's iconicity. Iconicity is just making sure the same brand throughout the last 136 years keep the fundamentals. Is a white colored brand with the red in the back. And we have other examples, right? We have the dynamic ribbon is another icon from our brand. And there's another icon that we're super proud of, which is our package. We call the contour bottle. And I want to share a very interesting story, some of you might know, is how the contour bottle was developed. And this was the briefing when we created the contour bottle. A glass package so distinctive as to be instantly recognized as one containing Coca-Cola. So distinguishable by touch that even a blind man could correctly identify it. So shaped that even if broken, a person could tell at a glance what it was. That was actually the breathing when the contour bottle was designed. And until nowadays, if you close your eyes in a dark room and someone gives you a Coca-Cola bottle, you will recognize. So this is about iconicity and how you build long-term relevant brands for the consumers. But of course, it's not only about that. It's also about innovation and connecting to the next generations that are coming or about to come. And I have two examples here. First, this is the first NFT that we developed. It was actually built to give as a giveaway for the NFT collectors during the Pride Month. And the second example is our Coca-Cola creations. We have a set of concepts and products and formulas that connect with the different generations. And this is one that we have launched globally, the Coca-Cola Marshmallow, in partnership with the artist Marshmallow. So sustainable marketing, the second most important thing, is to how to connect better with the consumers. And we have three angles to look into that. One, we need to serve the needs of those consumers, improve their lives, and make positive impacts. Let me share a little bit how we touch those three angles. So more important is that Coca-Cola, when you talk about serving the needs, we have been serving the needs for the last 136 years. And this is the purpose of our Coca-Cola company, which is refresh the world and make a difference. And when we connect to those consumers to serve their needs, we look into occasions. And the occasions are very important for us to understand how the consumer actually connects with our products. And now we connect our products to the day lives that they have. So we look into different angles. So we have meals, which is we actually very strong on that occasion, how people actually eat with our beverage. We have the breaks, and we have the choices. And the choice is about having the different choices, either with sugar or without sugar. The second angle that we look is improving the lives. And improving the lives through connecting with people. The first example is that when we have Trump and Kim Jong-un meeting back in Singapore and Vietnam, we actually launched this special peace edition that connected US with Korea in a very simple way, just through the packaging. The second is about embracing inclusivity. And the third is during COVID times, we actually stopped our ads in the, and we actually transferred that ad investment or that ad budget to the COVID relief. So actually it's really important how you connect with the communities and how you actually embrace all this inclusivity. Sorry, stopped working my video, so I have to look back now. As a Coca-Cola, we are a brand of contradictions. We want to talk to everyone, with the young, with the old. We are gender. We talk about with all the genders. We talk with all the races. And we want to bring something to be celebration with all those contradictions, which is what we call the real magic of humanity. So I want to quickly share a video with all of you about how do we connect with that real magic. Can you play the video? The sound? Sorry, can you start over with the sound, please? Yeah, music is a passion point, so we have to have the video with the music. It's not the same atmosphere when we are just showing the image. So maybe you guys could start over. Anyway, this is the Real Magic campaign that we have, and this is our what we call the manifesto video.
Be extraordinary.
Can you start over, please?
All you need is an open mind and an open bottle. That's
Thank you.
it's everywhere. Some might think it doesn't exist, but it does. For us, life is full of magic. First love, winning at life, helping each other, discovering new things, sharing experiences. The more real we are, the more magical life becomes. And every Coca-Cola is a chance to embrace that. It's about celebrating life. A delicious taste that uplifts you. Seeing the world through a different lens. Feeling the magic in the everyday. Cool, crisp, refreshing. It's that moment when we find ourselves revived and ready to celebrate the world around us again. Real magic isn't in a fairy tale or abracadabra. The real magic in life only happens when someone believes that any given moment can be extraordinary. All you need is an open mind and an open bottle. That's when the real magic happens. Coca-Cola. Real magic.
So
It's everywhere.
this is what we call the video is starting over. Can you bring back to the PowerPoint? So this is when the real magic happens. But it's important, one of the angles that we look into is how to make the positive impact into everyone's lives and communities. And I just bring 3 examples. One, I don't know if you guys know, but 1,000 rivers represents 1% of all rivers in the world. And those 1,000 rivers pollute 80% of the ocean. And with just partnership with an NGO called the Ocean Cleanup, that they have the vision of having 1,000 interceptors, which is this big machine here, on every single 1,000 rivers to clean up the river before the waste goes into the oceans. And this is part of our ambition as well. And the first interceptor, or actually put here in Vietnam, in Mekong Delta, in Kanto River. So it's been there since the beginning of the year and has been operating since then, collecting all the waste from the Mekong River. So that's actually building from thinking to action on our initiatives, how to collect plastic. The second one is our Sprite. Over 60 years, we have the green bottle. We actually switched that to the plastic transparent bottle, which is much easier to be recycled. And the third initiative is that we just launched in Vietnam, the first one in Asia, the first RPT, which is the recycled PT, which 100% of the PT is made from unused PT. So we have very strong ambition, and we have a strategy called the World Without Waste, which by 2030, every single bottle and can that will go in the market will be recycled. In a summary nutshell that I shared here today, there are 4 growth engines that we need to think through that are bringing into life the sustainable marketing, which I shared. First one, the iconicity. And I talked about the brand, the bottle, the rainbow. The second, how you connect that with your different generations. So innovation is also a key pillar for us to do different things. The third, how you connect with your consumers through the occasions and the rituals, serving the needs of those consumers. And the fourth pillar is about sustainability. All of them actually translates into brand growth, which are more consumers, more often, more revenue, and more transactions. Right. So pursuing sustainable marketing. Okay, sorry. I don't know. Can you, somebody, oh, can you come back? Yes. All right. So pursuing sustainable marketing requires constant learning, agility, and sometimes fundamental changes. And honestly, during pandemic times, I think all of us went through very big fundamental changes. In the last 2 years, actually, Coca-Cola totally reorganized ourselves in a new networked environment. And also sustainable marketing requires, I think, first passion. You really have to love what you do. Once you love what you do, you are committed. So commitment. Also, you need to stay strong. There are tough times. There is not always easy times that will come. And I think all of us have gone through that in the recent years. And keep the focus on the few big things that really will change the needle. So before I close, I have one last video to share. Again, I want to thank for the opportunity. And I also want to say that I'm happy to be here because I am spreading the real magic into my neighbor's office today. So I hope they can hear my video and really spread the real magic as well to them. So thanks a lot. And I need this very loud, please.
One dream, one soul, one prize, one goal to class of what should be. It's a kind of magic. This is a kind of magic. There can be only one. These rays that last 1,000 years will soon be gone. It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. Magic. It's a kind of magic. Magic. Magic.
Thank you, everyone. Shinkaman.
Thank you, Leonardo. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
One for the social media.
Sure.
Goes on the Coca-Cola social site tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a question.
Yes.
What's your number one sustainability challenge in Vietnam?
It's not only in Vietnam. Actually, the recyclability depends on the level of the country. It's a challenge, right? So we do a lot of internal efforts to recycle, but we have to do through partners. And I think the supply chain is still a work in progress, let's put it this way, not only from our side, but also the partners and also the government. So we need to work together as an industry. Honestly, Coca-Cola cannot do it alone. We have to work together as an industry to build the capabilities for the supply chain. And the other part, I would say education, because not only the corporates needs to invest on sustainability, but also it's very important that the consumers understand the importance of it and put into action. And without education, it's very hard to do it.
Any other questions from the audience? We have the opportunity there. Shams, can somebody get a mic across to Shams? Okay, Shams, I'll bring the mic to you.
He knows the answer, by the way. I'm sure his question, he already knows the answer.
Okay, Leonardo, that was a masterclass in brand iconography, and there's probably no one better than Coke. But given the need to constantly make sure our brands are resonating with new targets, what advice would you give to the youngsters in the room? What do you change? What do you not change? Coca-Cola could easily have abandoned a lot of its distinctive brand assets that have made it an icon. What advice have you got for youngsters in the room who want to do new things but don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater?
Thank you. Thanks for the question. I think when you look at our 4 pillars perspective, I mean, the iconicity you don't change, right? It's something that is already embedded in our culture, and our consumers recognize anywhere you see. And we play a little bit on the innovation part of our brand proposition to build more relevancy to the new and to the new generation of consumers. And I would say it's not an easy job because sometimes you fail. Actually, you think you're doing the right thing, and we see other brands and other competition have even doing better than us, connecting to the new generation. So it's a constant learning process. So how you actually leverage that strength of iconicity and your impact in the community to play differently on innovations throughout your strategy with the new generations is the key. And I mean, I would say just keep trying, learning and failing and trying again.
Thank you for that. A huge round of applause for Leonardo, please. Thank you, Leonardo. Really
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. So we'll move on. In the spirit of showing some creativity, what we've also done today is, in between sessions, we are going to show you some of the good case studies that we saw, the jury recommended when we were doing the Smarties Vietnam jury session today, last week. So during the process of the day, we'll show you 4 or 5 such case studies. But it's not just about showing the case study. It's not showing the video. We've also invited those marketeers to actually come here and talk about some of the challenges they had when they were building those marketing campaigns, what they thought of, how they worked on it, so that also becomes sort of a learning process. The showcase that Jessica spoke about earlier is a reflection of that, which will be more in depth. But these are some of the scenarios that we wanted to share with the audience and help you understand what it really takes to make a winning campaign, what are the challenges, what are the pain points, etc. So in that spirit, I'm going to invite my next guest. She's the Associate Marketing Director of Abbott, Ms. Ram Do, and she's going to come and talk about one of the campaigns that we saw. Ms. Do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me start with a question.
Sure.
What's your number one passion, if you have more than one?
Okay. My number one passion is having the deep understanding of Vietnamese consumer insights and consistently building a brand, adapting technology to make the impact on consumers' lives.
Wow, that's work related. And I would have thought it was more about hiking or something. what's the book that you're reading right now?
My book, the book is From Good to Great of Jim Collins.
Oh, great. I'll leave the stage to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Thank you. So it's a great honor for me today to be here on the behalf of the team to share the case study of Ensure Go 2022 TED campaign in which we call Inspire the Caregivers to Make the Social Movement. Yep. So before we're talking about the details of the campaign, there is one key factor that makes the campaign successful, and we call it customer intimacy. But customer intimacy is actually including three key components. The first one is having a deep understanding of Vietnamese consumers. And the second is how we drive like a highly relevant creative platform. And the third one is to make an integrated social marketing deployment. Yep. So when we do the campaign last year, back into October of 2021, you remember, actually, we just been through the wave 4 of pandemic, right? COVID pandemic. And actually, it left us with a lot of uncertainties, a lot of questions, and a lot of not really good memories, especially for the people who live in Ho Chi Minh City and the near provinces, right? And with that, we actually realized that we couldn't do the normal thing like we can do in the past. We could not meet our parents, our friends, and family members. And actually, we realized that the normal things become so luxury to us that time, right? And actually, yes, COVID-19 has brought us a lot of challenges. But in the meantime, the good side of that, we just realized one thing that helped us to embrace, which is gratitude. Sorry, can you see the slide? Yeah. And in the meantime, we realized one thing, feel a piety, đạo hiếu. It is the universal core of the Vietnamese value. It is deep in our heart. It is deep in our mind as Asian people and Vietnamese people. And I believe that it's same across from the people across the globe. And actually, when we realize that, filial piety is become more important than ever. And I believe all of you, including our target audience, who are the caregivers, we all have the promises to our parents from the time we were a child and then we grow up, right? A lot of promises. Why? Because we want to show the love, the care, and the respect to our parents. But because of life, we have to pursue our career. We have friends, we have events, and we have to care for the earning the money, and a lot of things happen in life. And deep in our heart, we still have that promises. We still keep that. We still remember that. But we could not fulfill. And we think we will make it someday. However, actually, through the pandemic, and at the end of the year 2021, the year with a lot of uncertainties that makes us rethink, that change our mind, that no better time is better than the 10th of 2022 to make the promise come true, right? Because time is limited. We all know that. In the Vietnamese, we have a word saying, thời gian hữu hạn. And Ensure Gold, we are the leader in the category of adult milk. We accompany with our caregivers. with you to take the great care of their parents' health, to ensure they stay healthy so that we still have them with us this date, next date, and many more tests to come so that we could have a chance to make the promise come true. And with all of that, and with the love, piety that we have for our parents, we make the campaign, we make the unforgettable promise come true, not someday, but today. And with that, we come to the campaign, a social movement to awake caregivers, and should go TED 2022. Yeah. So I would like to share with you the summary of the campaign. So please play the video. Thanks.
As caregivers, we all have unforgettable promises to our parents that deep down in our hearts, we think they'll be fulfilled someday. Yet this year makes us rethink. The fourth pandemic wave brought an unprecedented impact, with the highest number of COVID cases and fatalities. Caregivers, more than ever before, became anxious about losing loved ones, since we realized that the time with our parents is limited, and that there is no better time than this TET to take care of our parents' health and to make our promises come true. So how did Ensure Gold emotionally engage millions of Vietnamese caregivers to act on their long-standing promises? We first raised the social tension with a social experiment question. What promises have you made to your parents that you have yet to fulfill? Amplified by social outreach channels, along with hot KOLs and communities to further evoke peak attention. Stirred up a massive discussion among caregivers. We successfully generated the highest ever number of engagements. We then elevated customers' emotions to climax with our TET short film, The Unforgettable Promise, advocated by a huge wave of influencers who uncovered their own caregiving stories. Through the film, caregivers could realize the urge to take great care of their parents' health as they shared back their stories and acted on their unforgettable promises right this TED.
Rồi vài mươi năm sau không quên lời hứa, con cong mẹ hoài, con cong mẹ hoài, thiên thu.
The film attained an outstanding 19.4 million views with a widespread effect by influencers and hot communities. We didn't stop at preaching, but moved caregivers to action through a large-scale user-generated content challenge, starting with our KOLs acting on their promises, and then inspiring millions of consumers to do so with their parents. The challenge became a social media hit, joined by over 90,000 creators with over 130,000 video creations, generating over 210 million views. On top of that, we created more than 80,000 buzz, contributed 91% of total adult milk category volume, boasting #1 in category share of voice. Thousands of promises were fulfilled and thousands of stories were shared widely on social platforms, creating a massive social movement for caregivers to take care of their parents. Ensure Gold also provided caregivers with special TET offers delivered through an integrated ecosystem. Starting from digital with online lead generation, where we successfully drove down cost per customer acquisition by a significant 22% versus normal rate. We also provided offers via e-commerce and trade with massive visibility and special health gift packs. Impressive results of 180,000 gift packs were sold in just 2 months of TET, reaching #1 on e-commerce. New user recruitment increased to over 30% versus normal month. The campaign has also achieved phenomenal business results. Ensure Gold reached the highest ever year-on-year growth at 37%, and thereby solidifying the absolute #1 leadership in adult milk category and gaining incremental share. Yet, besides remarkable numbers, Ensure Gold has proudly kept families' love stronger despite all odds in this TET, next TET, and many more TETs to come.
Thank you. So you have just seen very informative video I would like to summarize the activities, the campaign that we've done. Actually, we have 3 phases. The first phase we call is awake. When we actually awake, we trigger the emotion of the caregivers. And by using our KOL and influencers, for them to share about the unforgettable promises that they have not yet fulfilled with their parents and how they long to make it come true. And the second phase is the inspire and also engage phase when we launch the hero video. Sorry. Yep, and for this phase, we have the long form and the short form video, and we also try to drive the engagement with our caregivers, and we actually deploy this on actually various social platforms, and we got high acceptance and positive feedback from our consumers. And we come to the last phase, which is the phase of action. We launched the UCG, user-generated content challenges on different platforms, including Facebook and TikTok, to urge our target audience, who are the caregivers, to take action now to buy Ensure product, to take care of their parents' health, so that their parents can stay with them longer, not only this date, next date, and many more tests to come. Yep. So this is the result that we have achieved for this campaign, not only in terms of brand building, but also of business impact. And you have seen in the video as well, we actually live up in terms of consumer consideration for the brand, not only for the current users, but also for the new users. And in terms of the business impact, the sales growth year on year was 37%, which is a very impressive number. And it helps Ensure to gain share and strengthen the position of number 1 in adult milk category. Yep. So this is a little bit about the success of the campaign that we did for TED in 2022. Yep. So it's come to the end of the presentation. So before I close this, I would like to take this chance to say thank you to the team, the adult team, especially Ensure team, and the agency Hakuhodo, Sparks, and also the director Chung Ji Kong for making us the success by spending the great effort on this campaign. Thank you, and happy Women's Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep.
It's interesting to see. I saw some stats on this. 137,000 social videos created by the public. These are not small numbers. So we were talking about, Leonardo spoke about iconic brands, but this is also, we are also in the stage of how do we see the rewards of the work that we do, the business impact. And MMA is committed on actually building business impact as one of the key elements for every marketing dollar spent. We partnered with Walk to actually build a methodology of how do you measure the rewards of the money spent, and business impact is the key criteria. In fact, for Smarties, we measure the success of most of the campaigns on the business impact. So that was a lovely presentation. I'm now going to take the opportunity to present our next speaker. She is from AdMicro. She is the CEO of AdMicro. Can I actually have Ms. Tam on the stage, please? She's going to talk about a hybrid event. We've gone through last 2 years of the changes that have happened, and we've gone into that environment of how we've all got used to and accustomed to hybrid event, etc. But what's the future? We are never going to go back into one realm of what the world is. It is going to be a hybrid. And so how do we move forward with that? How do we make sure that we are evolving that as we move forward. Miss Panmi, thank you for coming. Miss Mi is going to present in Vietnamese. For a lot of you, it'll be interesting presentation because I think the essence of what's happening in the market will be more relatable. But before I do that, we saw a very good music video in the Coca-Cola campaign. Which is your favorite music artist?
Thank you. Yeah, I thank you so much for presents us here. So today I really want to bring some of new information from the music show and also from my friend Việt Tú. He is one of the most famous content creator and entertainment in Vietnam. So sorry so much because he missed this event today. For the event, I really love the music show, and also I think the clip from the brands who merging with the music is very look like a magic for everybody. So
great.
Yeah.
Thank you. The stage is all yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Xin chào tất cả các anh chị. Hôm nay thì chúng tôi có một cái trao đổi từ góc độ của một local partner, một NS của một publisher in Việt Nam. Chúng tôi đã chứng kiến rất là nhiều các event cũng như là các hoạt động đã bị cancel trong vòng thời gian 2 năm gần đây. Cái việc mà Covid nó sẽ dẫn đến rất nhiều những vấn đề về việc logistics cũng như là về mặt thời gian cũng như là sức khỏe và cái yếu tố về mặt sẵn sàng cho tất cả các hoạt động event lớn. Vì vậy cho nên trong 2 năm gần đây thì chúng ta đã nhìn thấy rất là nhiều các cái hoạt động về hybrid event đã được thực hiện. Tuy nhiên là nó ở các mức độ rất là khác nhau. Đối với cả việc về mặt đối với event thì chúng ta sẽ có thể thấy được rằng là ngoài cái tính về mức độ vật lý của một cái sân khấu cũng như là các cái hoạt động về các cái hoạt động về việc tổ chức các event quy mô lớn đã được diễn ra trong vòng 2 năm gần đây thì mọi người có thể hình dung là ở thế giới thì đã có rất là nhiều sự chuyển biến về mặt technical cũng như là về mặt concept. Tuy nhiên ở thị trường Việt Nam thì chúng ta đã thấy rằng là có rất là nhiều sự thay đổi của các nhãn hàng cũng như các hoạt động lớn khi đã điều chuyển từ lĩnh vực về chỉ hoạt động trên offline hoặc chỉ hoạt động các cái quy mô nhỏ trên online thì gần đây rất là nhiều các cái hoạt động của các nghệ sĩ lớn ở thế giới cũng như là các chương trình lớn ở tại Việt Nam đã được combine lại và đưa nó thành hình thức về hybrid event. Mọi người có thể hình dung rằng là trong thị trường quy mô hiện tại thì chúng ta đang dự kiến là hybrid event tính đến năm 2028 có thể đạt toàn bộ toàn cầu có thể đạt đến con số 336 tỷ đô và mức tăng trưởng của nó là một mức tăng trưởng vô cùng ấn tượng. Tại Việt Nam thì chúng ta có thể nhìn thấy rằng là hybrid event đã được thực hiện rất là nhiều. Tuy nhiên tôi muốn đem đến với các anh bạn một số những cái hình ảnh tại một cái show mà chúng tôi cực kỳ ấn tượng, đó là show về Up3 mới diễn ra vào hồi tháng 7 vừa rồi.
Best charting Korean girl group of all time, K-pop sensations.
Một số hình ảnh rất là nhỏ, tuy nhiên các anh chị có thể hình dung rằng là đây là những cái hình ảnh đã được diễn ra trong các cái show của quốc tế trong thời gian rất gần đây. Gần đây nhất thì mọi người đã biết rằng là Up3 đã được khôi phục lại toàn bộ hình ảnh và tổ chức một cái show hoàn toàn là hình ảnh giả lập. Tuy nhiên tất cả khán giả đã được sống trong cái môi trường đấy và họ gần như là trở thành một cái họ cảm thấy có cảm xúc, cũng như là họ đã tham gia cái show đó từ đầu đến cuối. Và đấy là một cái show diễn mà đã mở ra một cái kỷ nguyên mới về hybrid show ở thị trường thế giới. Đối với cả hoạt động về hybrid show thì chúng tôi có thể tin tưởng rằng là hiện tại về công nghệ, về content, về nghệ sĩ, tất cả mọi hoạt động đấy đã được ready cho tất cả mọi hoạt động liên quan đến tổ chức các cái show lớn nhất ở thị trường Việt Nam. Các anh chị có thể hình dung rằng là show Act 3 đã bán hết vé trong hết năm tiếp theo, và số lượng mà mỗi mỗi ngày mà show được diễn ra là có thể lên đến 200.000 người có thể tham gia. Một trong số những cái chỉ số liên quan cái hybrid show ở thị trường quốc tế, các anh chị chắc chắn sẽ biết rằng là Justin Bieber đã đạt được 1,2 triệu lượt xem ngay sau show. Đối với hoặc là Blackpink ngay tại lần đầu tiên khi ra mắt thì đã đạt được 9 triệu lượt tương tác và tăng gấp đôi tại show thứ hai. Ở thị trường Việt Nam trong khoảng vài tháng gần đây thì chúng ta đã nhìn thấy rằng là Tiger Beer, một trong số những cái hoạt động của Crystal Tiger, tôi thấy rằng là đây là một hoạt động mà đối với góc độ truyền thông của chúng tôi, đây là một trong số những cái điểm rất là đổi mới tại thị trường Việt Nam. Gần đây nhất thì tôi có theo dõi thấy một cái show tiếp theo, đó là hoạt động của bên MSB. Và đối với MSB, họ đã một cái điều mà rất là thu hút tôi, đó là gì? Anh CMO của bên MSB đã post trên Facebook của mình không chỉ là tôi có 5.000 người tham dự tại địa điểm, mà còn có đến 100.000 người theo dõi trên online. Và tôi nghĩ rằng khi mà toàn bộ các chỉ số KPI cũng như là hoạt động đó đã được merge giữa cả offline lẫn online, thì đấy chính là sự chuyển biến đặc biệt quan trọng, khiến cho những đơn vị cung cấp công nghệ cũng như những đơn vị về làm media agency sẽ bắt buộc sẽ phải có rất nhiều sự thay đổi. Và trong thời gian sắp tới thì như chúng tôi cũng đã thông báo, thì bên Space Baker với 11 nghệ sĩ như Binji, Subin, Hoàng Sơn và 11 nghệ sĩ khác thì họ đã công bố sẽ tham gia một cái hoạt động là hybrid event, trong đó có 5.000 người tham gia tại địa điểm, nhưng có đến 5 triệu lượt view trên livestream ngay tại thời điểm phát và 10 triệu lượt view sau khi kết thúc một tuần. Thì đấy là những cái chỉ số mà tôi nghĩ rằng là rất là thú vị đối với thị trường Việt Nam, và thị trường Việt Nam của chúng ta đã bắt đầu có rất là nhiều các cái hoạt động về hybrid event. Trong cái nội dung bài nói ngày hôm nay của tôi thì tôi hy vọng rằng chúng ta sẽ có thể chia sẻ với nhau nhiều hơn nữa về cái lĩnh vực về hybrid event, một hoạt động sẽ impact đến giới agency cũng như là về các cái brand trong thời gian sắp tới. Thì đối với chúng tôi thì khái niệm khi mà chúng ta tập trung vào hybrid event, chúng ta phải có 3 cái yếu tố rất quan trọng. Thứ nhất là content phải thay đổi, thứ hai là phải hệ số chỉ số về KPI cũng phải thay đổi, và thứ ba là đặc biệt là sẽ phải thay đổi mindset của cả từ góc độ của những người đầu tư lẫn góc độ của những người triển khai và toàn bộ hệ thống truyền thông phù hợp. Thì đầu tiên chúng ta có thể nói rằng là cái phần content là vấn đề quan trọng nhất. Đấy là một trong số lý do mà tại sao ngày hôm nay tôi và bên MMA có mời anh Việt Tú tham gia, mặc dù rất là xin lỗi là anh đã bị một cái công việc riêng nên là đã bị miss mất cái việc này. Bởi vì chỉ có những người họ làm về idea, làm về sáng tạo, họ làm về sản xuất nội dung thay đổi thì chúng ta mới có thật sự một hệ thống hybrid event thay đổi. Đối với cả hệ thống content về hybrid event thì chúng tôi đặc biệt quan tâm đến, một là yếu tố về âm thanh, hai là vấn đề về visual, và ba là vấn đề về activity, tương tác giữa người dùng, người xem với những người biểu diễn trên sân khấu, và cuối cùng là yếu tố thay đổi về yếu tố về đầu tư. Ở đây chúng tôi cực kỳ đặc biệt lưu ý đối với tất cả các hoạt động ở thị trường Việt Nam, đó là gì? Đó là cái hệ thống đường truyền của Việt Nam. Khi mà chúng ta tải trên hệ thống đường truyền quốc tế thì chúng ta rất hay gặp vấn đề về việc là chất lượng âm thanh. Vì vậy cho nên là cái yếu tố về âm thanh là yếu tố quan trọng số 1 trong cái việc mà làm hybrid event. Vấn đề thứ hai là khi mà chúng ta nói về vấn đề visual thì chúng ta không thể chỉ tập trung cho hoạt động content tại chỗ, tại điểm đến. Ví dụ ngày hôm nay chúng ta có hơn 200-300 khách mời tại địa điểm này, đúng không ạ? Tuy nhiên chúng ta còn có thể có 1.000 người khác đang hoạt động trên online. Vì vậy cái content tại địa điểm nó phải được merging cùng với các hoạt động mà dành riêng cho những người mà trên audience trên online. Quay lại với cả Space Baker show thì theo như tôi biết rằng là họ đã tăng từ 5 máy quay đơn thuần lên hơn 40 máy quay ở các địa điểm khác nhau, giúp cho cái người mà người ta xem trên online, người ta có thể có lựa chọn các góc nhìn khác nhau. Chúng tôi cũng rất là kỳ vọng để đợi chờ tháng 11 này. Show đó là một trong số những show mà chúng tôi đánh giá là hybrid đầu tiên event lớn đầu tiên ở thị trường Việt Nam. Thì hy vọng rằng là những cái mà đạo diễn Việt Tú cũng như các bên đồng hành sẽ thực hiện được đúng cái hoạt động đó. Và đặc biệt là activity có nghĩa là gì? Ở trên online nó rất khác với việc offline. Các brand rất là khó có thể tiếp cận đối với những cái người mà họ đang ở đâu đó trên mạng, họ đang xem trên mạng xã hội, đúng không ạ? Tuy nhiên Hybrid Event bắt buộc chúng ta phải xây dựng được các hoạt động activity phục vụ dành riêng cho nhóm đối tượng độc giả đấy. Và tôi tin rằng khi mà chúng ta quay lại cái câu chuyện về việc invest thì chúng ta sẽ nhìn thấy con số, các cái chỉ số sắp tới chúng ta sẽ show ra ở đây, không chỉ 5.000 người mà chúng ta có thể target đến 1 triệu người, 10 triệu người trên online. Và vì vậy trên cái tỷ suất đầu tư của cái hoạt động Hybrid Event được kỳ vọng sẽ đem đến lời giải cho các những cái người mà làm marketing trong giai đoạn mới. Tôi sẽ đi rất là nhanh qua một số các hoạt động. Thực tế là trong Hybrid Event thì sẽ có rất là nhiều các đơn vị cung cấp các giải pháp. Tuy nhiên các giải pháp đấy về cơ bản nó sẽ được listing chúng tôi listing khoảng hơn 20 các activity liên quan đến Hybrid Event. Tuy nhiên là cái hoạt động này nó phải được thực hiện một cách rất là chuẩn mực và đơn giản, tính công nghệ phải rất là cao và chi phí thì rất là rẻ. Tuy nhiên tôi nghĩ rằng là trong cái buổi ngày hôm nay thì chúng tôi chỉ muốn highlight rằng trong tất cả các hoạt động event, kể cả truyền thông, kể cả hoạt động về tương tác tại chỗ, thì chúng ta đều tập trung cho cái hoạt động làm sao chúng ta có thể kết nối được nhiều nhất về cảm xúc lẫn về yếu tố lý tính đối với cả khách hàng trên online và trên offline. Yếu tố thứ hai trong Hybrid Event mà chúng tôi thấy rằng là tất cả các thương hiệu đều đang đặt ra vấn đề lớn nhất trong năm vừa rồi, và tôi tin rằng là đấy là bài giải cần phải giải trong các năm tiếp theo, đó là hệ chỉ số KPI. Đối với thông thường thì chúng ta có hệ chỉ số online như view, như click, như là social. Offline chúng ta có hệ thống số lượng người xem, số lượng vé bán, số lượng ví dụ như 10.000 người tham gia tại các địa điểm ABC. Đối với TV thì chúng ta sẽ có lượt rating, đúng không ạ? Tuy nhiên là chúng ta cần phải bổ sung thêm một cái lượt KPI nữa, đó chính là KPI về livestream. Tại thời điểm hiện tại thì hầu hết các thương hiệu đều đã bắt đầu có livestream chương trình của mình. Tuy nhiên nó rất là đơn thuần là chỉ là các bạn phát trên kênh của các bạn. Tuy nhiên đối với cả Hybrid Event thì mega livestream là một trong số những cái yếu tố quan trọng nhất để khiến các bạn có thể reach được số lượng người lớn nhất trong cùng một thời điểm. Ví dụ như cùng một chương trình, khi chúng ta phát livestream thì chúng ta sẽ phải nghĩ đến con số là 1 triệu view, 1 triệu người xem tại thời điểm như vậy. Thì các cái chỉ số liên quan đến mega livestream cần phải được các bộ đơn vị về công nghệ, các đơn vị về đo kiểm và brand cùng thống nhất để có thể đưa ra một bộ chỉ số hoàn toàn hoàn chỉnh cho hệ thống liên quan đến Hybrid Event. Đây là một ví dụ của chúng tôi đã thực hiện cái hoạt động liên quan đến KOC Việt Nam vào khoảng tháng 5 vừa rồi. Đây là một trong số những chương trình đầu tiên reality show mà chúng tôi thực hiện trên Hybrid Event, bao gồm cả offline và phát hoàn toàn trên online. Cái hoạt động này thì không quá mới mẻ, tuy nhiên là chúng tôi thử nghiệm cái phương án liên quan đến mega livestream để có thể đạt được cái chỉ số tốt nhất. Thì khi mà đặt về bộ chỉ số thì chúng tôi bắt buộc phải đặt trên cái số lượng platform rất là lớn, 9 platform, 150 news về website news, và chúng tôi cooperate với rất nhiều các cái fanpage đồng thời để có thể phát chương trình cùng một thời điểm. Và chúng tôi đạt được khoảng 17 triệu view, total view cho tất cả là 10 tập, và cái tập mà final round thì chúng tôi đạt được 4 triệu view tại cái thời điểm phát sóng. Như vậy có thể nói rằng là đối với cả mega livestream, khi chúng ta có hệ thống công nghệ support thì chúng ta có thể đạt được một cái chỉ số rất là cao so với cái những cái giới hạn hiện tại về mặt truyền thông cũng như là về mặt phát triển của kênh phát. Yếu tố thứ ba mà tôi muốn nhấn mạnh ở đây đó chính là chúng ta phải thay đổi hoàn toàn mindset từ góc độ đầu tư lẫn góc độ về việc triển khai. Điều này nó cực kỳ quan trọng, bởi vì sao ạ? Nếu mà nói về Hybrid Event, chúng ta đã thực hiện điều đấy rất lâu rồi, đúng không ạ? Chúng ta có rất nhiều công cụ đơn giản để có thể thực hiện được cái hoạt động đấy. Chúng ta có bên brand nào cũng sẽ có một cái channel riêng của mình về social, đúng không ạ? Về website của mình chỉ cần ấn nút một cái là có thể triển khai được. Tuy nhiên nếu mà chúng ta gọi nó là Hybrid Event thì thật sự chúng ta phải phục vụ cái trải nghiệm của người xem trực tiếp và người xem online là tương đồng với nhau. Thứ hai là chúng ta phải phục vụ tất cả những cái hoạt động mà khiến cho chúng ta cái ROI của chúng ta cao nhất trên môi trường cả online lẫn cả offline. Và điều đấy nó chỉ thực hiện được nếu như mindset từ góc độ đầu tư của brand, góc độ của nhà tổ chức, góc độ của bên sáng tạo, góc độ của các bên công cụ phối hợp đều đã được thay đổi và điều chỉnh nó theo một cái khái niệm hoàn toàn mới. Và tôi tin rằng ở góc độ của chúng tôi thì chúng tôi sẽ chỉ đánh giá những hybrid event quy mô lớn nếu như bạn đạt được reach trên 1 triệu view tại thời điểm phát sóng. Vậy thì hybrid event như tôi đã nói thì nó là bây giờ và nó là tương lai. Bây giờ chúng ta không nói câu chuyện rằng là nó sẽ nữa, đúng không ạ? Hybrid event nó là những thứ mà các brand ở thị trường Việt Nam đã phát triển rất nhiều. Tôi có thể đến ở đây tôi cũng gặp rất là nhiều các cái đối tác đã từng hoạt động thực hiện hybrid event, ví dụ như Vinhome, đúng không ạ? Ví dụ Yamaha, ví dụ như là Lazada, ví dụ như gần đây nhất là các cái đơn vị mà rất là lớn ở thị trường Thành phố Hồ Chí Minh. Thì hybrid event muốn phát triển thì tôi tin rằng sẽ có 4 cái xu hướng rất quan trọng mà các anh chị tôi muốn đem đến các anh chị ở góc độ ngày hôm nay. Xu hướng thứ nhất là mega livestream. Xu hướng số 2 là xu hướng về virtual, KOL, KOC và celeb. Xu hướng thứ 3 là xu hướng về virtual concert. Và xu hướng thứ 4 là reality show trên nền tảng hybrid. Thì 4 cái xu hướng này nó sẽ là những cái xu hướng mà những đơn vị công nghệ như chúng tôi và những cái đơn vị mà tổ chức sản xuất nội dung như chúng tôi đang đầu tư. Tôi tin rằng là trong năm 2023 sẽ là sự bùng nổ của các hoạt động này. Mega livestream thì là một cái hình thức mà tôi nghĩ rằng là các anh chị hiện tại đã làm. Tuy nhiên các anh chị cứ hình dung mega livestream đối với góc độ công nghệ của chúng tôi thì nó giống như là phát truyền hình trực tiếp vậy trên internet. Chúng ta có rất nhiều kênh truyền hình, đúng không ạ? Chúng ta có thể phát truyền hình, chúng ta sản xuất sau chúng ta post lên. Mega livestream cơ bản cũng như vậy. Tuy nhiên cái quan trọng nhất là cùng một thời điểm các anh chị có thể phát trên cùng 100 kênh, hay là các anh chị có thể phát trên 50 cái social page khác nhau mà chất lượng vẫn đảm bảo. Hệ thống công nghệ có thể giúp cho anh chị có thể đảm bảo về mặt góc độ hình ảnh, góc độ về truyền thông tin, có khả năng tương tác và đặc biệt là quy mô phát rất lớn. Thì đối với chúng tôi, mega livestream bản chất nó chính là một mô hình của việc là phát sóng trực tiếp trên truyền hình được chuyển dịch trên digital. Và cái yếu tố mà tôi muốn nhấn mạnh ở đây đó là chúng ta phải coi rằng là đối với hybrid event thì digital first, tức là gì? Audience ở đâu thì chúng ta ở đó. Nếu audience ở TikTok, các anh chị phải có giải pháp cho việc phát livestream trên TikTok. Nếu audience của các anh chị đang ở trên social, trên Facebook, anh chị phải có cái kênh để tiếp cận đến với họ. Và mega livestream là hệ thống công nghệ để giúp các anh chị có thể tiếp cận đến họ một cách dễ dàng và đơn giản nhất. Yếu tố thứ hai đó chính là cái việc mà xu hướng thứ hai đó chính là cái góc độ về hybrid event cho reality show. Phần này thì tôi sẽ đi rất nhanh vì các anh chị đã nhìn thấy rồi, đúng không ạ? Chúng ta có Running Man, chúng ta có gần đây nhất là show về ca sĩ mặt nạ. Đôi khi tôi nghĩ rằng là tôi thì không xem trên truyền hình đâu, nhưng mà tôi xem trên online. Và khi tôi xem show đó trên online, tôi cảm thấy rằng là gần như là tôi có thể tương tác được với họ, mặc dù cái mức độ vẫn đang ở mức độ là để view là chính. Một trong số những cái show mà lúc nãy chúng tôi cũng đã nói rằng là đó là show về KOC Việt Nam. Tôi có thể demo cho các anh chị một số các cái show về reality show, và ví dụ như là Gucci họ sẽ có một số các cái hoạt động khi mà họ ra mắt, họ sẽ có một cái số tương tác rất là hiệu quả. Thì cái yếu tố liên quan đến góc độ về việc reality show thì tôi nghĩ rằng đã có sự dịch chuyển, và dịch chuyển này hầu hết đến từ các đơn vị sản xuất. Khi sản xuất reality show thì họ đã sản xuất phần version dành riêng cho online, khác với trước đây, đúng không ạ? Thế còn cái câu chuyện cái quan trọng nhất, một trong số những cái câu chuyện quan trọng nhất đó là gì? Tôi không thể nào mời mãi anh Trấn Thành đi tham gia tất cả các show của tôi, đúng không ạ? Anh ấy đã tham gia show này rồi anh không tham gia show khác được nữa. Hoặc là ví dụ như chúng tôi vừa mới có một cái câu chuyện đối với cả một celebrity ở Hàn Quốc, họ không thể sang Việt Nam được mặc dù hợp đồng đã ký, chỉ đơn thuần là bởi vì có một số những yếu tố về vấn đề sức khỏe. Thì trong cái giai đoạn hiện tại, brand rất là lo ngại cái câu chuyện, một là chi phí khi mà của celebrity, cái thứ hai nữa là cái yếu tố về scandal, và cái yếu tố thứ ba nữa là cái hoạt động về cái năng suất sản xuất của các idol celebrity là họ rất là giới hạn. Thế vì vậy cho nên có một trong số các xu hướng để mở ra cơ hội cho hybrid event đó chính là virtual KOC, virtual KOL, và chúng tôi đặc biệt nhấn mạnh đến virtual celeb. Và trong thời gian sắp tới thì chúng tôi có một số các dự án để phối hợp với họ để xây dựng và đầu tư lên cái version virtual dành riêng cho các nghệ sĩ. Và với cái hoạt động như thế ở thị trường quốc tế thì các bạn nhìn thấy rằng là tất cả các nghệ sĩ lớn ở thị trường quốc tế hiện tại đều đã có version virtual. Tuy nhiên đây mới là những cái thử nghiệm rất là sơ khảo. Đối với virtual KOL, KOC và celeb thì điều quan trọng số 1 đó là content. Ai sẽ là người manage content, ai sẽ là người nuôi sống cái content đấy. của họ để họ có một đời sống riêng biệt, một đời sống song song cùng với đời sống thật của họ. Vì vậy cho nên ở Việt Nam thì tôi đã bắt đầu thấy có 2 đơn vị đã đầu tư về việc quản lý virtual KOL và virtual celeb. Đây là một cái ví dụ của virtual KOL, tức là chúng ta có 3 xu hướng trong lĩnh vực về virtual human. Một là các celeb họ sẽ đầu tư một cái version dành riêng của họ trên thế giới digital. Ví dụ các bạn sẽ nhìn thấy Hồ Ngọc Hà version virtual, đúng không ạ? Các bạn sẽ nhìn thấy Binzy với cái mô hình về trên kỹ thuật số. Tuy nhiên có một cái xu hướng thứ hai, đó là xu hướng toàn bộ là ảo. Những cái đơn vị, những cái người mà đây là một bạn rất là nổi tiếng ở một bạn rất là nổi tiếng ở Hàn Quốc. Tôi không biết là tại sao cái clip không chạy. Và tất cả những cái bạn này thì được xây dựng ra hoàn toàn là độc lập, có một đời sống riêng và mãi mãi trẻ. Đặc biệt là không có scandal. Sản xuất vô cùng mượt mà, và chúng tôi đã liên hệ với các đơn vị này và chúng tôi thấy cái rate card báo giá của họ cũng rất là phù hợp. Thì tôi tin rằng là trong thời gian sắp tới ở thị trường Việt Nam, tôi biết rằng là có rất nhiều brand đang ngồi ở đây đang triển khai dự án, đúng không ạ? Virtual dành riêng của họ, ambassador của riêng của họ. Và trong góc độ đối tác của chúng tôi thì hiện tại cũng đã có 4-5 đơn vị đang đầu tư cái hoạt động này. Một cái ví dụ, một cái ví dụ bên cạnh đây chính là cái ví dụ về một bạn KOL ở thị trường Việt Nam mà sắp sửa debut. Vì thời gian không có nhiều cho nên là chúng tôi cũng sẽ muốn move sang cái phần yếu tố thứ ba. Yếu tố thứ ba đó chính là cái câu chuyện về việc là virtual concert. Hiện tại thì chúng ta hình dung là đã có một số đơn vị đã thực hiện. Tuy nhiên cái virtual concert nó chỉ phát triển nếu như chúng ta có cả một platform khiến cho cái việc tổ chức một sự kiện concert về digital nó rất về ảo ấy, nó cực kỳ đơn giản. Đấy chính là lý do tại sao mà tôi tin rằng trong năm 2023 sắp tới sẽ là một cái thời gian điểm bùng nổ của virtual concert, bởi vì platform đã ready. The Future Show là một trong số các cái show mà đã mới được public gần đây và dự kiến thì sẽ được tổ chức vào quý 1 năm 2023. Đây là một show của anh Việt Tú với sự phối hợp giữa nền tảng là một cái nền tảng tên là Without Us. Đối với cái show này ấy, và họ sẽ hy vọng rằng là đây sẽ là một cái show đầu tiên mở màn cho, họ gọi là The Future Entertainment, một cái xu hướng mới hoàn toàn phục vụ cho tất cả các bạn nghệ sĩ, kể cả các bạn nghệ sĩ underground cũng có thể tạo ra concert của mình. Và đây ở cái show đầu tiên này thì tất cả khán giả xem chương trình có thể tương tác trực tiếp với nội dung trên sân khấu. Và ví dụ như là các bạn có thể nhấn nút để nghệ sĩ biến hình. Hoặc là ví dụ thứ hai là các bạn có thể thay đổi toàn bộ sân khấu. Một cái sân khấu thông thường vật lý chẳng hạn thì một brand chỉ có thể làm 1 sân khấu đến 2 sân khấu thôi. Tuy nhiên với cái chương trình này thì tôi đã nhìn thấy là 10 sân khấu khác nhau và hoàn toàn có thể thay đổi, và người thay đổi nó là người xem. Hoặc là người xem có thể tương tác trực tiếp với show khi mà anh có thể lựa chọn nghệ sĩ có thể hát bài bên trái hay bài bên phải. Thì thông qua hệ thống voting trên app thì mọi người, những cái fan của họ hoàn toàn có thể tương tác trực tiếp với nghệ sĩ và nghệ sĩ sẽ thay đổi ngay lập tức trên cái sân khấu của mình, sân khấu thực, và mọi người đều có thể xem trên online. Tất cả các hoạt động về công nghệ này hiện tại đã ready. Và vì vậy cho nên là tôi tin rằng là trong năm 2023 với cái hoạt động của đầu tư của công nghệ, đầu tư của việc phát sóng, đầu tư về mặt rất nhiều các nghệ sĩ cũng như là các cái đạo diễn sân khấu, đạo diễn chương trình âm nhạc, họ đã bắt đầu tham gia vào hoạt động liên quan đến hybrid event. Thì tôi tin rằng trong năm 2023 sẽ là một sự bùng nổ với sự mở màn của The Future Show. Để có thể tổng kết lại thì chúng tôi nghĩ rằng chúng ta cần phải quan tâm đến 3 yếu tố. Một là cái vấn đề đầu tiên là yếu tố về kịch bản, yếu tố về ý tưởng của show đó phải phục vụ cả offline và cả online. Yếu tố thứ hai là nghệ sĩ họ phải ready với cái việc là chuyển mình, họ phải chuẩn bị sẵn sàng cho tất cả những trải nghiệm mới và thử nghiệm mới. Và cuối cùng là tính tương tác, những tương tác mà chúng ta, chắc là những người làm marketing như chúng ta chắc chắn sẽ có rất nhiều đất để có thể làm về sáng tạo khi mà có toàn bộ các công nghệ liên quan đến interactive ở đây. Và tôi nghĩ rằng một điều cuối cùng mà chúng tôi, những người đang triển khai, những người đang đầu tư trong hybrid event thì chúng tôi tin rằng hybrid event là bây giờ và là tương lai. Xin cảm ơn các anh chị.
Thank you, Ms. Phan. That was very insightful. Um, the future is hybrid, a very interesting peak of what virtual reality, metaverse, and virtuality is going to be in the future. I'm sure this also presents a lot of opportunity for brand marketeers, for agencies to think of how do we leverage this. By the way, this session today is also being live streamed. So we are actually truly living in that hybrid space. If you have colleagues and friends who would like to listen into this session, you can ask them to log on to the MMA Vietnam Facebook page and they can see that. But what is also very important is with this hybrid event concept, with the virtuality and the metaverse, what is really important is for us to understand. I think what the message that she was leaving us with is really for us to understand how do we start to build strategy around that. In hybrid events, there is a lot of opportunity. You can create branding solutions, whether it is Jesse, who's the famous traveler in Korea, or somebody else. Brands can create those brand icons for themselves. So this is a great opportunity. So with that, I'm going to move forward and going to introduce to you a new speaker. I know the Smarties is in the evening. I know we have a gala dinner which has a lot of entertainment, but we thought we'll break the mold and do some entertainment at Impact. So I'm going to introduce you to a singer who we've invited. She also happens to work at YouTube and is the sales lead, YouTube lead for Southeast Asia. So let me introduce Rashi Tyagi. When I was talking to her, I asked her what her passion was. And she said it's music. So I have requested her to sing a few lines for us before she starts her presentation. And I'll talk about that presentation later.
Yeah, I think that was completely unexpected. Not how I wanted to start my presentation, but since Rohit requested, here goes. He forgot to mention it's Indian classical music, so you might not understand the language, but hopefully the music is interesting.
Music has no language.
All right, here goes. यूं ही पहलू में बैठे रहो यूं ही पहलू में बैठे रहो आज जाने की जिद ना करो say you won't let go. Just say you won't let go. All right, thank you. Yeah, it is so wonderful actually being in person, being present in Vietnam. I'm coming back after 2 years. Let me move back to what I do for my day job. So today, last time, my teammate Anil had talked about the power of connected TV. And today, allow me to take you through 3 things. One, is there a lot of feedback or echo? Is all right? All right, so the first thing was that how the consumer journey is evolving. I think we have heard a bit from each of the speakers. And then also why it's important to create demand and capture demand. Second, how can Google and YouTube help? And finally, third, just some success stories of brands who have already taken steps in this direction and some clear actions that you can take right away. We have the Google team in the audience. So you can, of course, find us later also if you have any questions. So let me begin with this. All right. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. Yes, so I think if we've heard this, right, that change is the only constant. And if someone tells you this, it's such a massive understatement, right? Last 2 years, we have gone through a pandemic and are still going through one. the prices are rising, the supply chains are disrupted, and all of this, at least when we see with trends on Google, this has given rise to a new consumer. And all of you here know it and feel it. Like, I think Leonardo talked about how in the last 2 years, they completely revamped the Coke model. So we're seeing this consumer make decisions on their own term, at their own time, and in all new ways. So let me give you some stats on how this is happening. Oh, I'm trying to move it to the next slide. Yes, so these are some of the things which prove the rise of the new consumer. So out of the 72 million Vietnamese internet users, 60% of them have actually made a purchase online, which means they're so comfortable buying online and completing their entire consumer journey online. In a recent research with Ipsos, we found that 47% of shoppers have purchased at least one brand they've never bought before. Can you hear me? Yeah. Right. And then another thing which we have seen is that these journeys could be really complex. In some categories, this could lead to almost 500 plus touch points, which is really mind-boggling. And this is not some mythical consumer. I think even when you, me, we decide to purchase something, we go through this journey. And we studied this further. There was a study called Decoding Decisions, and we saw that yes, the journey begins with a trigger, it ends with a purchase, but in between is this whole messy middle where consumers explore and they evaluate. And this just doesn't happen once, it happens continuously. You can think back to your last purchase and see that this happened, hopefully also to you, right? It continued to happen. And in this messy middle, the consumer choice is really vulnerable. It is here that you can stand to lose or gain a customer. 44% consumers said that they're likely to move away from their first choice of a brand by mere exposure to a competitor. So think about it. All a competitor needs to do is just show up, which leaves us with no choice. So as I mentioned, this diagram here shows the relationship between brand and performance marketing. So today we need to unite both of them into an integrated full funnel approach. So if you see, funneling up is when we are trying to reach out to new consumers and prospective consumers, trying to create demand. While funneling down is when we are reaching out to already shoppers who are interested in your brand or category and capturing the existing demand. So we understood that full funnel is important. But at Google, we love data. So we were thinking, all right, full funnel is important, but how does full funnel, activating it on Google solutions, lead to impact on business metrics like sales effectiveness, ROI? So today, I wanted to share with you the results of a never been done before analysis with Nielsen. The goal of the study was pretty simple. What is the incremental impact of activating full funnel solution on Google Ads solutions? And the results were pretty interesting. So if a brand is investing today, and if your brand is currently investing today in upper funnel, by diversifying to mid to lower funnel, you stand to gain up to 20% on sales effectiveness and 15% on ROI. If your focus currently is on mid-funnel, then you stand to gain up to a whopping 52% on sales effectiveness and 41% on ROI. To a few clients, when we've shown these results, the next question is then, how do we allocate budget across the funnel? And we have some guidance here even for that. So when we look at sales effectiveness, how do you make each of those impressions work really hard and get those incremental sales? We see majority of the budget on mid to lower funnel, which means that mid to lower funnel really help in getting that incremental sales. Similarly, when it comes to short-term ROI, we see that the role of mid-funnel sort of shrinks, and it's the upper and the lower funnel which gets the majority of the budget. We're working with a few brands on how to go about this full funnel journey, and I wanted to share with you a couple of learnings which we have had. The first learning is choosing a platform that enables you to make these connections across the funnel. Video definitely. How many of you have been watching more videos in the last 2 years? Show of hands. At the back. Do you watch videos? Right? So you're not alone. We have seen that on YouTube, an exponential increase in consumers who are watching video. And they don't just come to YouTube for entertainment, but also to figure out what to buy, what to research. This stat is an example of that 63% of YouTube viewers said that they bought a brand as a result of just seeing it on YouTube. And this is happening at a massive scale in Vietnam because YouTube reaches almost 60 million plus consumers. And this, we have seen, also leads to an impact on sales as well as mind measures. So we did a meta-analysis of all our brand lift studies across APAC markets and saw that 70% of the campaigns on YouTube drove a lift on brand awareness, and almost 84 drove a lift in offline sales. And even advertisers who are now going full funnel on YouTube specifically, they see this synergy between brand and performance marketing play out pretty beautifully. So advertisers who have funneled up and are trying to create demand see that brand video is able to drive 28% of their conversion assist. Advertisers who were earlier focusing only on awareness and now are moving towards mid to lower funnel see that they're getting up to 10% better ROI. So hopefully with that on the first learning, it's important to understand that yes, full funnel and creating demand and capturing demand is quite important. I'm happy to share with you an example of such a brand, which funneled up recently to create brand awareness for their brand. How many of you have heard of Castlery? So I think the Singaporeans in the room. All right. So Castlery is a Singaporean D2C furniture company. When I moved to Singapore 5 years ago, it literally looked like I had robbed their showroom. Everything from my sofa to the console table, everything was from Castlery. But Castlery had big ambitions. They wanted to go global. And in 2019, they decided to step into the world's biggest furniture market, the US. And how did they go about it? Castlery is also a pretty data-centric company. And for 18 months, they did smaller pilots, they understood the consumer, the product market fit, and so on. After that, they decided that they needed to step back, take a relook at their brand, and move from just being a company which sells furniture to actually a brand which wants to create spaces for its consumers to thrive. How did they go about it? Well, I will not be sharing the entire story together. So let me go along and it will unravel as we look at our learnings. Brings me to the second learning that we are seeing as brands go full funnel is that thanks to machine learning, platforms like Google, YouTube, we are able to analyze millions of consumer signals and then match their needs with actually your goals. So at the top of the funnel, when you're looking at driving awareness, you can look at using campaigns such as video reach campaigns, which optimize across multiple formats to drive efficient reach or efficient awareness. In the middle, when your consumers are going through that messy middle, you can hold their hand and guide them through to purchase using video action campaigns and adding product feeds on top of it. So if you see on the right-hand side of mine, it's a very visual experience with the product showing under the video. So I think some of you might have seen these ads in Vietnam. It's quite convincing. It just leads to more engagement from consumers, leading to more action. And our most exciting update, the third one, is short. So Shorts is YouTube's short video platform, and we have seen exponential growth on Shorts. There are now 1.5 billion monthly active users on Short globally. I think it took YouTube almost 10 years to get to this scale, and Shorts got there in 2 years. And you don't have to do anything additional to leverage the power of Shorts. You just have to add your own vertical asset to existing campaigns, and it will leverage the inventory on Shorts, leading to 10 to 20% more conversions. HVNet, I don't know if they're in the room, they are actually a Vietnamese brand, and they have a diverse portfolio of personal care as well as home care. They used Shorts into their video action campaign and added vertical videos, and they saw almost 30% more conversions versus when they only had horizontal videos, and almost 22% lower CPA when they added the vertical assets. So clearly, vertical assets and short video trend is here to stay. Let's come back to Castlery. So if you remember their challenge, they wanted to move from a brand which just sells furniture to making their consumers believe that they can create spaces that thrive. So how did they go about using machine learning and various solutions across the funnel? So one thing, of course, is the building blocks of the campaigns, like formats, audiences, and so on. Another learning which Castlery had was that they used a creative agency which understood how to make videos for digital. So they wanted to make sure that when their goal was awareness, the whole focus was on grabbing attention, while on consideration, they wanted to build a striking message and then communicate the value and close the loop with their action campaigns. But still, there is one key element which is left. And that brings me to the final set of learning, which is that how do we measure? How do we measure whether full funnel works? How do I measure how these different parts of the funnel work with each other? So a lot of times we've seen that advertisers would, let's say, do campaigns which are focused on capturing demand, and then figure out that why is it not impacting my brand metrics? Or they would do campaigns which are meant to drive demand and then measure it on conversions. So our learning has been that campaigns that are meant to create demand are meant to drive reach out to your future customers. They're meant to build that emotional connect as well as mental availability, while campaigns that are meant to capture demand are meant to reach out to users who are already interested and in market. And therefore, you want to just make it really easy for them to take that next step and take an action. So keeping the KPIs of the two sets different is what we've realized is one of the success factors. How did Castlery go about measuring the results of their strategy? So they took a pretty iterative approach. Their whole campaign lasted over 6 to 8 months, and they iteratively used brand lift to measure the impact every time they made a change. So every time they added a different audiences, every time they added a new creative, they looked at the lift in brand metrics, and they saw almost a 16% lift in awareness, almost 1 million lifted users. And for them, the key to connecting all of this to ROI was seeing the lift on search terms. We're still working with Castlery to continue to evolve how they go about full funnel. I promised in the end that I would leave you with clear action items, things that you can just take action on right away. So let's start with step 1, is just assessing. Assess where you are in the funnel. If currently your focus is on funneling up, start moving down the funnel to capture that demand. Similarly, if your focus has been on funneling down, then set aside 10 to 15% of the budget and start to funnel up. Adapting, second step, is to adapt the building blocks of the campaign as you go through the funnel. So if you're currently using campaigns like Performance Max, you would look at using video campaigns in order to further capture prospective customers. And then finally, measuring the impact that each of these stages have on each other. And if you're already doing that, maybe in silos, look at things like attribution and how, with attribution, you can see the role of each channel as consumers go along this journey. And with that, since my thank you slide is not up, I would say thank you so much for your time. It was lovely being here, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Rashi, and thank you for singing. I just wanted to take this opportunity if anybody has any questions to Rashi. Any questions in the audience? There has to be one question, right? What she explained, everybody understood. There are no questions. She was that good. Is that a given? Okay, so I have a question. Brand and performance. What is the difference between the two and how are they merging as we go forward into the future? We've also done at MMA, and if we can have the slide, we've done a research on brand as performance under the attribution aspect. And we are saying brand can be used as performance, and performance is all about branding, and it's all interchangeable. What's that one thing from a YouTube perspective or a Google perspective you guys think that brand as performance can sustain itself in the future?
Yeah, I think what we have realized is that one cannot substitute the other. In fact, we were discussing this yesterday, that as we saw, the objective of brand building is more to create demand and therefore reach out to more of your future customers who might have never heard of you, but they might purchase you in the future. While at the same time, purchase or capturing demand is more about the lower funnel. So we have seen that whenever brands are doing branding, so building future demand along with performance, it has a positive impact on even their performance. So you saw that I think it was driving 28% more conversions versus if you're just operating in the lower funnel and reaching out to the same consumers as everyone else is, right? So brand gives you that chance to go beyond and reach out to new customers. We've definitely seen that.
Last chance, any other questions? Ed.
Yes, Ed.
Hi, Rashi. Thank you. Really interesting presentation. I just have one question regarding budget splits between creating demand and capturing demand. So do you have recommendations for clients, or does it depend on category to what percentage of their budget should be focused on brand and creating demand, and what should be driving kind of performance in the short term?
Yeah. I wish we had a categorical answer. We've seen there's no silver bullet, but the study that we did with Nielsen would give some guidance. So I think it said that if the objective was more ROI, we have seen that majority of the budget to be focused on upper funnel, so almost, I think, 50%, and then it was 10% in the mid funnel and the remaining 40 on lower funnel. But again, I think to most brands, sales effectiveness and ROI both could be important. So then it's a more balanced approach. And I think one thing we have seen is just experimenting so that we can make sure that what works for brand A might not work for brand B. So short answer, there's no silver bullet, Ed. I don't have the answer to this big question. But yes, there are definitely some guiding numbers.
Thank you. Thank you once again,
so
Rashi.
much.
Pleasure to have you here. Round of applause, please. Thank you. So before we move forward, I would like to once again thank all our partners who have supported us for this event. I would also like to take the opportunity again to thank all the speakers and the delegates. One quick housekeeping. As and when we go for lunch, the lunch is being served at level 1. It's not outside here. There's the restaurant at level 1. So just keep that in mind. Your time to go down and coming back. The next presentation is again a case study, which was a very interesting case study that we saw while judging. It's a very local case study done by a Chuhut, and this is a case study about basically social impact, how the brand saw the opportunity to create social impact, how they were able to work with the dynamics of the industry or the world in the COVID times and seize that opportunity to help do good for the industry. But also, it also gives a very good example of why, when we are looking at creating solutions, creating marketing solutions, solving for brand problems, that we can identify these opportunities anywhere and everywhere. So with that, let me introduce the next speaker. Welcome. Ms. Swan is going to talk about the case study, the Bun Me case study, about the mobility, job mobility, creating jobs in the pandemic days, and how that really helped people get employment and impacting the brand. Over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Minh Xuân. I'm from Chợ Tốt, the leading marketplace in Vietnam. And today, welcome you to the campaign Job Mobility Center, or in Vietnamese we call xe bánh mì tặng việc làm, bánh mì khạc, give good job. This was the first brand campaign of Việc làm tốt, and this was launched by this time last year. And so first, what is Việc làm tốt? Việc làm tốt is the sub-brand of Chợ Tốt, the first job portal specializing in blue-collar job segment. And blue-collar job, which means in Vietnamese we call việc làm lao động phổ thông. The job segment that focus in some job types like driver, shipper, restaurant staff, security workers. And last year, that the message of Coca-Cola is a message to be here today, because last year all of us have been suffer a lot because of COVID-19. Last year, a lot of companies have to go close. And at that time, more than 16 million migrant workers have been impacted by the COVID-19. They lost their job. Some of them have to come back to their hometown. Some of them try to stay in Ho Chi Minh City and struggle to have the new job. But at that time, there are still a lot of companies in the need of urgent need of hiring new people, because they need to recover right after the COVID lockdown. And at that moment, on Việc làm tốt, there were more than 1.4 million job vacancies available. So the challenge of the campaign is how we connect the supply and the demand in the most effective way, that more people can get the new job in the fastest way. So with this campaign, we focus on blue-collar worker from the age of 18 to 34, mostly in Ho Chi Minh City. And these people, they usually have the behavior seeking for job on offline channel, and they haven't have the behavior of looking for job on any online job portal yet. And the challenge of the campaign is how we can bring the seamless brand experience for the job workers, to have them can reach the website in the fastest way and get the job as soon as possible right after the COVID time. And the second, the opportunity here is we need to ensure that with this campaign, Việc làm tốt can establish a strong brand awareness, because blue collar workers, they usually have the tendency to change their job quite often. And we need to ensure that every time when they're in the need of finding a new job, they will recall the brand Việc làm tốt. So how we do that? The creative campaign starts with the one-word brand strategy, which is fast, at the job portal specializing in blue-collar job segment. Việc làm tốt ensure that every people, when they land to Việc làm tốt, they can easily find the job that fit them well. Thanks to the a lot of job variation on the website, and at the same time, the very easy application that the job seeker can contact directly to the recruiter, thanks to phone, or they can leave a short CV in less than 30 seconds. And to deliver this brand idea, we use the image of the bánh mì. And why bánh mì? Bánh mì is the most popular street food in Vietnam that is very fast and easy to get. And when we are in Ho Chi Minh City, we easily find bánh mì street cart at every street corner. And so the campaign is, the creative of the campaign is that we equip more the function of the job mobility center on the traditional bánh mì cart. By that way, we can bring 1.4 million job vacancies from Việc làm tốt to every street corner. And our audience can experience the brand idea that getting a new job on Việc làm tốt is fast and easy as getting a bánh mì. So we work with top low prices bánh mì chains in Ho Chi Minh City and deliver more than 100 bánh mì street cart, aka the job mobility center in Ho Chi Minh City during 2 months. And as you can see, the traditional bánh mì cart now become the experiment show at home of Việc làm tốt that can trigger the curiosity and create the awareness of Việc làm tốt. And our audience, when they're waiting to have the bánh mì, they can explore the job search on Việc làm tốt. And the leaflet, and the wrapping paper of the leaflet become the, the wrapping paper of the bánh mì become the leaflets of Việc làm tốt that people, they can find more information, and when they finish the bánh mì, they can go to the Việc làm tốt website to apply to have a new job. And with this campaign, besides reaching people on offline channel, we also increase the reach of the campaign on online channel. We collaborated with MC Quỳnh Linh, the national MC of Vietnam. He is very famous for helping people who have the difficult circumstances for a long time, and especially during the COVID lockdown. And with his companion, we continue to spread out the campaign story on online channel like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and online news. And when we land our audience at the website, Việc làm tốt also provide onboarding process that our audience can get a job in the fastest way. And we also conduct the job hunting gamification to increase the user retention on the website and create the scheme to trigger the growth loop among job seeker community. And as a result, the campaign was successful at gaining the huge media attention that more than 160 earned media, including TV news and online news. And the social interaction also were very huge, that the campaign that gained more than 100,000 social interaction, and 98% of them were positive. And on the business side, during the campaign, more than 1 million people visit Việc làm tốt to get a new job. And the brand Việc làm tốt from a totally new brand now become the most popular brand with 48% of brand awareness recall. And the revenue of Việc làm tốt also increased by 21%. And behind this success, there were 3 key takeaways that we always remember. That first, the user-focused mindset. This campaign was done fully by the in-house team from ideation to execution. By putting our user at the center, we provided them a seamless experience from offline to online, from the state of brand awareness to the state of advocation. The second factor is about being agile. One of the reasons that the campaign can gain a lot of publication earning is because it was launched at the moment when people talk a lot about this topic. And last but not least, this campaign also a good example for us to remember about the social impact marketing. This campaign is not a CSR campaign. It's a campaign that we focus on generating the shared value between the society and the business. And that is also our ultimate goal when doing marketing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I hope this was useful. Something, as I said at the beginning, there are opportunities everywhere. So if a brand can optimize and seize that opportunity, one can really make a big difference. This campaign, I personally also really liked of being able to create jobs in a scenario where it was very challenging for a lot of people. Thank you so much once again. A round of applause, please. So we are going to move on to the next session. This session is all about the future. We had a glimpse of this when in our last presentation talking about the hybrid events, etc. But what does the future really mean? We have evolved from a very traditional landscape, TV, print, outdoor, to Internet Web 2.0. But what is staring us in the face is Web 3.0. What does that really mean? Web 3.0, virtuality, metaverse, blockchain, NFT. These are very big words. A lot of people, raise hands, how many understand Web 3.0? Somebody? But the challenge is, it is going to happen sooner than we know. And what our next presenter is going to try and convince us, share with us, is the opportunity that Web 3.0 will bring with it. As with the lack of hands in the room, there is a lot to learn. So I hope that presentation will help us at least charter some path forward for that. So let me introduce our next speaker. He's the CEO of Kokok. Welcome. Mr. An Nguyen has traveled across all 5 continents, traveled to more than 40 countries around the world. I'm sure he's learning and gaining experience. Is that right? 40 countries about what's happening, the cultural nuances, etc., but also about technology. His passion is music, learning new things, reading books, but also he is a big Amy Winehouse fan, right?
Yes.
And social
Buena Vista Social.
Buena Vista Social. So if anybody follows that, I requested him to sing also, but he politely declined. But he is going to focus on Web 3.0. Stage is all yours. Thank you.
Hi everyone. It's great to be here. I actually did a presentation in June in Hanoi about Web3, but I'm going to share with you a bit more today. I think my goal today actually is really to get you interested and curious about Web3. Then you can think if it's relevant for your brand, right? It's not going to be relevant to all brands. And then if it's relevant for your brand, then you can think about experimenting, right? Because it's still like very early days for Web3. I'll be honest, I don't understand everything that is going on. You know, sometimes it's a bit crazy, but let's go through it. So my presentation has 3 parts. First part, I'm going to do a quick intro about Web3, so we're all on the same page. Then I'm going to share 3 case studies about virtual products, hybrid products, and IP ownership that Web3 can enable. And then I'm going to share a bit some thoughts about what's coming. But first, yeah. So what is Web3? Let's go through the history of web, right? So we started with Web 1. So Web 1 was about static pages, and consumers could read content, right? But static websites, you read content, that's how you consume information, right? Then came Web 2. So Web 2 is about read and write, right? So users or consumers could post their own content on platforms, mostly social media, right? So it become interactive, and they can also interact with each other. So that was Web 2. Then came Web 3. So Web 3, the core technology underlying Web 3 is actually blockchain. I'm sure you hear about it. You heard about it. But the key idea to understand about blockchain is that it's a distributed database that is basically on the internet, and users can use that database in a transparent and permanent to post data in a transparent and permanent manner, right? So what does it create? Create trust, right? Because anyone can access that database, can verify the information on that database, and can trust that information, right? And so the keywords here are read, write, and trust, right? But actually, I think you will also hear another version of keywords about Web3 is read, write, and own, right? So the ownership is very important, and I explain why. So once you have that distributed database, people can own digital assets, right? And it creates a new ownership economy with Web3, right? And you've seen through the boom and crash, right? So people were owning what? Cryptocurrencies, right? NFTs. Let's be honest, a lot of the hype was about speculation, right? So trying to make easy money very quickly, right? So that was like the boom, right? And then earlier this year, it completely crashed, right? But you still have brands who run interesting experiments around this ownership. So let's go through that. Yeah. So I'm going to show you 3 case studies. The first case study is Gucci. So me from AdMicro mentioned that case study actually. I don't know if you know, there is a very popular game called Roblox. 50 million daily active users on that game. And what they did, they created this Gucci town, right? So initially that's a town, you go there, and it's a virtual kind of metaverse, and you experience Gucci in that town, right? But then what they did in that same game, can we move forward? Yeah, in that same game, they started to sell items, right? So you can see some of the, yeah, now you can see. You can see some of the Gucci items that they sold, right? So virtual items. And this is like an interesting example. So one of the virtual items is this Gucci handbag, and it sold for more in Roblox than in real life, right? So this item in Roblox sold for more than 4,000 USD, and in the real life it's 3,400. So that's really interesting. And so what it means is that consumers are interested about owning virtual items, right? And because it's a status symbol, right, in Roblox, in that virtual game. I think the other interesting part is actually, this is not even Web3, right? This case study is not even using NFTs. It's just items in Roblox, right? But still, it's interesting because consumers are interested about it and bought those items, so it has real value for them. So now let's move to a real NFT case study. This is Nike and Artifact, right? So it started with a company called Artifact. This kind of acronym, and this company is at the beginning is an NFT studio and doing virtual sneakers, right? So they create virtual sneakers, design, and they sell them as an NFT, right? So the first collection that they did those virtual sneakers, and they sold in 7 minutes. They sold for 3 million, right, of revenue of virtual sneakers. So that was very successful, and of course, you know, they did another collection, much more ambitious. And so November 2021, they did the collection with 20,000 avatars, right? That they also sold for 80 million USD, right? Much bigger number. And then what happened is Nike bought the company, right? So Nike bought the company. There is no public number, but the rumor says that it's somewhere around 1 billion USD, right? So they bought this company, Artifact. And then what happened? So what happened and why it's a hybrid product is that Artifact with Nike eventually release real product, right? Real merchandise with those designs, with the CloneX design. And so to be able to buy those products, you have to own the NFT, right? So you own the NFT, you can buy the products, and the product design is related to the avatar that you own. And then you can either keep this product or even sell it, right? And try to make money. So it's really interesting because actually if you really push like forward, it's kind of new model where the consumer is owning art, right? In that case, CloneX avatar is kind of art. And then they can partner with the brand, Nike, to produce some real products that they can keep or even sell, right? Meaning that they can go and try to market their product with their art and try to make a revenue, right? So that's if I really push, you know, much further. But that's interesting model. It's almost co-branding between a consumer and a brand, right? So that's a Nike example. Then the last example that I want to share is more recent. So Tiffany. But before I go to Tiffany, I need to talk a bit about CryptoPunk. So this is, you know, the avatars at the top. This is very iconic NFT collection issued in 2007, right? So those small pixel art avatar. The cheapest one, so one of these avatar, right? Cheapest one right now is 80,000 USD. Cheapest one, 80,000 USD. The most expensive pair was 23 million USD in February this year. So very iconic. People don't even want to sell their avatars, right? Because it's a status that they're very, you know, early adopters of Web3. But so this is kind of the context. And then what Tiffany did in August 2022, they issued NFT pendants, right? So they issue pendants to the people who own these CryptoPunk avatars, 250 of them. And they issue those NFT pendants at the price of 50,000 USD. And if you buy this NFT from Tiffany, it allows you to actually redeem an actual real pendant from Tiffany with the design of your CryptoPunk NFT, right? So in that case, why I call it IP ownership is because it's a bit similar to what Nike and Artifact did, but the user, the consumer, owns the NFT, and Tiffany recognized that owning the NFT means owning the intellectual property, the art, right? And then they partner together to issue that pendant. That has a lot of value, right? So we can, let's play the video. Can we play the video? Can someone click on it? Okay. So you can check, in the slide, I put some references. So you can check the video. It's basically, explaining what it means to own that NFT. So I just want to conclude and share a few thoughts. First of all, about the trend. So it's still the early days of Web3. But it's still very interesting in terms of what kind of new relationship you can build between consumers and brands. You should definitely ask yourself if it's relevant for your brand. And if it is, then you can experiment. So I think the first wave, so right now is still, we're not yet at mass adoption of Web3, right? But one thing is certain is that game is going to drive a lot of adoption. Like a lot of things with the internet or new technologies is going to come from gamers. And you can see it's already happening, right? So you see in Roblox, people are excited about virtual products. And it's something that already exists with gamers. Now, in terms of the innovation, maybe you heard about it, but on September 22, Ethereum completed the merge, which basically is a technical upgrade. But what it does, it decreases the energy consumption of the Ethereum chain, which most of the NFTs are, using that chain by 99%, right? So Ethereum chain was really bad in terms of energy consumption and carbon footprint, and now it's kind of reasonable, right? So it's interesting to know that because for a lot of brands that started to experiment with NFTs, consumers were critical about the sustainability, right? So it's not a problem anymore. And then the last part, so a bit about Kokok. So this quarter, we're going to launch a crypto wallet in the Kokok browser. And that's really the enabler for Vietnamese internet users to go into Web3. And it's very natural for us because we are the Vietnamese web browser. So of course, we need to support Web3 and help our users to try and experiment with Web3. So stay tuned and thank you very much.
Thank you. That was really insightful, a peek into the future. Any questions that the audience may have? I have a question for you.
Sure.
Blockchain Web 3.0 is very intense on electric power, etc.
Yes.
So how, when brands are looking at using it, how do they neutralize their carbon footprint? Because these are a lot of questions that the world is asking.
Yes.
How do you do that? Because at one end, what we heard with Coca-Cola in the morning, or what Google was talking about, is sustainability is important, agility is important. But when you're doing so intensive mining, etc., for blockchain, how do you help build that carbon neutral scenario, and how does it become more efficient for marketers?
Okay. So there's actually two parts to that answer. The first part of that answer, so Bitcoin is the most well-known blockchain, right? But they just do one thing, is cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And as far as I understand right now, moving forward, it's going to stay terrible in terms of energy consumption. They're not going to change, right? It's terrible. The whole Bitcoin mining is similar to a small country, right? Which is really bad, right? But that's Bitcoin. And then what I mentioned in my last slide, there is Ethereum, right? Which is really the blockchain that supports NFTs, all the new cryptocurrencies, and smart contracts, right? And they just did the merge in September. And like I said, it reduced the energy consumption by 99%. So they moved from proof of work, which is the approach that Bitcoin is using, from what they call proof of stakes, right? So now there's no miner like competing to try to, with computing power to try to win a prize anymore, right? So the network, so that was the first step. So reduce the energy consumption. Now, yeah, I would say it's probably not as good as a centralized in the cloud approach, but it's okay. It's not bad.
And what's the opportunity for Vietnam? I know Vietnam is big on cryptocurrency, but what's the opportunity? What is the realistic time frame for Vietnam?
No, I think so. So our approach is actually, we're not interested about cryptocurrency trading, right? So when we do the crypto wallet, what we want to do is really, enable Vietnamese users to have a way in the Kokok browser, as make it as simple as possible to play web games, to receive NFTs, right? But it's not about trading. It's not about speculating about. So for that, better to use Binance or any centralized exchange, right? But here it's in your browser. You have your wallet, which is your digital Web3 identity, right? And with this identity, you can own NFTs on the chain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions? Otherwise, we'll let Mr. An go. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Round of applause, please. How many people here have wallets? One, two, a few hands. What I can assure you, standing here on 20th of October 2022, in 2 years' time, 80% of you will have wallets. That I can assure you. If you don't get on it sooner, you're going to miss out on some of those ideas and creativity that's going to come out. So I do encourage as a consumer to actually do that, because a lot of the gaming, a lot of the reward programs, a lot of loyalty programs, etc., are all going to move, because that is what the future is. A lot of your brands are going to move there. As consumers, you need to be engaging with them. So I do trust that you should look at that. So moving from a French Vietnamese speaker to an US speaker, we have Mr. David Raab, who's come all the way from US. He's the CEO founder of CDP Institute, and he's going to talk to us about data and the need for agility on data. So David, if you can take the stage. Welcome.
Thank you.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What's your passion?
My passion. Well, my family is my passion. My wife here, she's my passion. My writing is my passion. I actually have been writing all my life since I was very young, and now I get to write every day, my little newsletter, and everyone is like a little piece of jewelry that you craft very carefully. So I'm just a very lucky person. I get to do my passion and get paid for it.
Good. So he gets paid for his passion. Very few people do. Round of applause for that. And those nuggets that you have, the creativity that you have, we look forward to hearing more on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will do that. We have many nuggets of passion. All right. So change is everywhere. You don't need me to tell you that. You know change is everywhere. You are living more change than, honestly, any of us really kind of wanted to live through. We have change in media. We have change in customer expectations. We have change in digital transformation, change in privacy rules, change in everything. And incidentally, this is not my driveway. This is an earthquake, just in case that was not clear. So you know that. You don't need me to tell you about change. What I will tell you, because we actually haven't heard too much about technology today, which is refreshing for me because most of the conferences I go to are all about technology, is that marketing technology, MarTech, among those in the know, makes change possible. Okay, it makes it possible for us to succeed in the face of change. It also creates change. And this is the famous graph of the number of marketing technology solutions. You've all seen different versions of that. All it says is there's been a lot of marketing technology developed really in the last 10 years or so. And we know that, but marketing technology allows us to support those new channels. It allows us to give personalized experience and to optimize the treatments that we give our customers, and it allows us to increase the productivity of our staff to do a better job, more work in the same time. Good for somebody. And maybe it saves money. What really happens is the costs don't go down, you just do more work at the same cost, which is, again, basically a good thing. So, okay, MarTech is great. I make my living out of MarTech. We said earlier, I write about MarTech. Yay, MarTech. But MarTech has a dark side, and I don't know if you can actually see that. That's Darth Vader showing us the dark side of MarTech. We have too many systems. We have too many features that we don't use in those systems. The systems are not integrated. The staff has to learn all these things. And sometimes, guess what? It doesn't do what we thought it was going to do. So we find ourselves really kind of struggling with MarTech. And don't take my word for it. Nobody should ever take my word for anything. This was working so good. I have to stand over here for this to work. Let's see. Okay, have to stand here. Important safety note. For the slides to work. And companies are frustrated as a result of all this MarTech, right? And there's all kinds of surveys about it. Don't take my word for it, but the stack is too complicated and the landscape is confusing and they don't use things. And 82%, this is a scary one, want to change something in the next year, this particular survey. And then 63% actually expect a lower MarTech budget in the next 12 months because we're all a little worried about the status of the economy. So what's going on here? The problem is we can't just throw our hands up. Forget it. Too complicated. MarTech, the heck with it. I'm just going to go back and put carts on the street, which was brilliant, the one we just heard about earlier, and some of the other things we've heard about today. Brilliant, brilliant marketing that's kind of low tech. But even those little street carts with the behind there was all online connectivity going on there. Right? There was a lot of tech behind those little street carts. So you got to make that tech work. It's simply too important to just give up on it. So what are we going to do? We're going to learn how to use this clicker. How do we make MarTech effective? That's really the question. Not, are we going to use MarTech? Of course we're going to use MarTech. Of course you are using it today. There's no one in this room who doesn't use technology in their job. Absolutely a given. So the real question is, how do we do it? And since I only have 15 minutes, and since it's kind of getting close to lunch, we'll actually give you the answer now. I'm not going to make you wait to the end, which is what I should do, right? We're just going to tell you that how you make MarTech effective is you walk to the middle of the stage and you press the button so the clicker will work, and then you say, agility. Agility is the key to success. Just write that down, and then you can fall asleep for the next 10 minutes. No, don't do that. Agility lets you adapt to any channel. It lets you change scale. If you have to go up or go down in scale, you can do it quickly. It allows you to remove bottlenecks using artificial intelligence. Very important. Allows you to create more content with the same resources. Allows you to do a better job with management. So all this agility is how you adapt to change. Again, not the most brilliant of insights here, but an important one. So remember that, and that really is the message today, It's just important to be agile in order to succeed. All right, and what's the key to agility? First-party data. We all know what first-party data is. Again, at the tech conferences we do. So first-party data is the data that your company owns for itself, usually in contrast to third-party data, which someone else owns and you buy. Don't confuse it with first-party cookies and third-party cookies, although, again, first-party cookies you own and third-party cookies someone else owns. So as privacy rules change, and as it becomes more difficult to buy data from other people or to use data that other people have collected, companies now want to take data that they themselves own, the first-party data, and they want to make a better use of it. Okay, and that gives us all kinds of freedom because we control it. It's our data. It's coming directly to us from our customers, so there are fewer constraints on the privacy because they presumably consented to using it, and a lot of it you collect in the course of business, so it's not quite the same issues of consent as with third-party data. And its own data allows us to have a consistent cross-channel, omni-channel experience because it's allowing us to use it every place we interact with our customers. What do we do with it? It does all kinds of cool things, right? Customer analysis, data clean rooms, lookalike modeling. These are things that you use to acquire new customers. Segmenting your campaigns through existing customers, managing real-time interaction, probably the number one gap that people talk about for customer data. And of course, in service and support, it's not just marketing. Just saw a survey, actually it'll be, no, it won't be tomorrow's newsletter, but we consider it for tomorrow's newsletter, that said 2/3 of the companies are only using their customer data for marketing. About 1/3 of the companies were using their customer data outside of marketing. That's a huge, huge opportunity because you want to use that customer data. You want to use that first-party data everywhere to improve those customer experiences, not just in marketing, but in service and in support, everywhere throughout the company. You have this data, and your customers expect you to use it. They know you have it. They want you to use it. So you have to use that data not just for marketing, but everywhere in service and support. So, all right, so how do we create agility? All right, and this is, you'll recognize, of course, the Sydney Opera House under construction. So how do you build for agility? The reason we're showing the Opera House is because think about how an opera house works, right? You have the stage, and somebody's dancing around on the stage, and they're singing, and they're doing things, and they're doing acrobatics, I will not do, and elephants come on every now and then. So you have all kinds of cool things that are jumping around on a stage. And those are very agile, but guess what? The stage itself has to be very, very sound, because otherwise you're going to fall right through. And thank goodness I did not fall right through. I did not test that earlier. That could have been very amusing. But the stage is good here. It's a good sound stage. Your technology has to be that sound stage. That opera house stage has to be very, very stable, very, very strong, so it can adapt to whatever is going to happen on the top of the stage. It's very important to build for agility. More specifically, and these are checklist things, easy connectivity, connect to anything. Flexible and scalable data storage, because you're going to sometimes need a lot of data, and you don't know what kind of data even. Content creation, again, we've seen some things today about creating huge varieties of content in different formats, making that very easy and very quick and very automated in most cases. Measurements, again, third-party cookies have been the primary way that we measured our online activities. That's the other problem with the loss of third-party cookies. It's part of it is targeting, but the other side is measurement. We got to find other ways to measure, and you guys are living with that, with all kinds of conversion APIs and all sorts of alternate measures. It's very, very difficult. I will say that it's always been a problem for marketers. We've had this kind of little golden age where we could use third-party cookies and we can measure at least the stuff online. We got kind of spoiled because it's great. But back in the day, we didn't have those before, and somehow still had to measure marketing. So we're going to do that again, measuring without third-party cookies. But there's lots of ways to do it. You have to think about how you're going to do it. Privacy supporting technology, extremely important, right? Privacy is only going to become a higher and higher priority. for our businesses. So we're really going to have to find ways to do that. And of course, we're going to have to empower our business users. The way for your company to be more agile is to let the users do it for themselves, not to rely on the information technology people to do it for them, because the information technology people are wonderful human beings. They're very dedicated. They're also very overworked. They have lots of priorities, and marketing is usually pretty far down their list. So you have to let the users do things for themselves. That's the only way you're going to be agile enough to really succeed in this environment. All right, so that's how you build for agility. But there's more than technology involved. It's not just tech, okay? And arguably, in fact, tech is the least of it. Depends on the survey you look at. But there are certainly many surveys that when you ask people about obstacles, what's preventing them from using their data properly, half the surveys will tell you it's organizational issues. It's not really the technology itself. The other half will tell you it's the technology. So depending on the point you want to prove, you pick whichever survey gives you the answer you want. But in fact, it is really important to look beyond the technology. Right? You have to organize your organization around this, your measurement systems, your training, your business processes, all these things have to support agility. So here are 5 sort of key things to bear in mind to organize for agility. This is wisdom. This is as much wisdom as you're going to get from me today, folks, okay? Decide on data, not intuition, all right? Use your data. Don't just, oh, yes, I see the answer, and I'm the boss, so my answer is right. You actually should have a lot of data in your companies and use that data. That's principle number 1, all right? Principle number 2 is experiment, don't optimize. And that's an important one because we want to optimize. Find exactly the best piece of creative and the best color for the headline and where the image should be and all that. That works great in a static environment where nothing else changes and I can tweak these little optimizations and get the best result. But guess what? Things change constantly. We're not in a static environment. We're in a very dynamic environment. And being in a dynamic environment, we have to just keep experimenting. Find out what works today, not what would have worked yesterday. So experiment, don't optimize. Measure outcomes, not inputs, fairly straightforward. Easy to measure inputs, and since it's easy, we tend to do it. How many emails did I send out? How many campaigns did I run? How many ad impressions? But who cares? What you want to measure is your outcome. What did I get? How much money did I make? Really all that matters. Other things to measure, but measure outcomes. And it's a conscious effort because it's so easy to measure incomes. Manage customers, not departments, okay? Think about the customer. Don't think about how the company is organized. And then support users, not systems. So again, don't think about technology. Think about what's going to be good for the customer because we're close. All right, in uncertain times, agility is the key to success. And the purpose of agility is to deliver great customer experience. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That was very insightful. I do want to share with the audience. We are planning to tie up with the CDP Institute and actually bring some learnings. Somebody click a picture, please. Some learnings to Vietnam. We are planning to do a series of workshops around CDP, how data is important, and I think as Jessica said in the beginning, we are trying to focus on creativity. I think data is equally important and they need to work hand in hand as we move forward. And it's really important that we understand the value of the mergence of the two as we move forward into the future. So we are working on seeing what we can do. Hopefully next year, we will have some learning, some workshop, some trainings, which will be available for Vietnam to take that forward.
Very good.
Thank you so much, David.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
you taking the time. Thank you. Okay, we are one presentation away from lunch, so please bear with us. We are bang on time, so please take note. In spite of singing, dancing, everything, we are on time, so that's a good sign. I would once again like to thank our partners, presenting partners, Google Grab, program partners, slides gone. Okay, program partners, Distill, Tribune, Meta, corporate partners, AdMicro, Coco, MGID, and Momo. It's with their support that we are able to do this and take this forward. Okay. So our next presentation is one more case study, which is really about delivering value to the consumer. It's a case study which showed us how a big idea can talk to technology, integrate with the technology, and take it forward. But at the end of the day, every great campaign, every great successful story actually has value. And if that value can be delivered to the consumers, I don't see a reason why a case study or a campaign or an effort that a brand or an agency or a publisher is making is not successful. So we will have Ms. Han and Paulo from Publicis and Heineken come on stage. Oh, wow, wow. One more. Dance.
Hello.
So,
I'm on top, come for trending. Come for YouTube, come for trending. And on top, I'm a trending. Big toolie bird truck, a dog Big city boy. Big city boy. Big city space victors in the house, make some motherfucking noise. Top team, the story, young thing, the
cheers. I will leave the fun part to the Heineken team. I'm not that fun, but I hope they will show you the value of silver coin and of Heineken. They will definitely dance before they leave the stage. I can assure you that.
Thanks a lot. And actually, since we're working for Heineken, so let's have a cheer first.
Okay. Cheers, Anne.
Cheers. I know you guys are waiting for the lunch now, so will not take a lot of your time and make sure it is very entertaining. Thank you. So first, for some of you, you might know that our brand Heineken, especially Heineken Silver, has been in the market for 3 years. So 2022 is very important for us to pushing a very strong brand building message to the consumer, especially establishing an emotional benefit to them clearly, so they understand what the brand stands for. So in the beginning of the campaign, we asked ourselves, and actually I put a hard question to Paulo here. What if we stop selling beer? For Heineken brand stop selling beer for the first time ever. But instead, we're gonna pay the consumers on the benefits that we're gonna have. Because in the end, to recruit consumers, especially young consumers, we need to pay them what we have first, to recruiting them to drink our products. So we understand that for Gen Z, actually, they are now suffocated with many offers from different brands to saying that the brands make for them, the products make for them. But actually, it yet to be clear enough for them to see what the real benefits that they can get from. So here comes Heineken Silver. We are a refreshingly smooth antidote to offer consumer a benefit, an experience that they can really enjoy and they can get from us. Because for Heineken, in the end, what we offer the consumer is about the experience to party, to play, and in the end, to enjoy life. So that's the purpose of the campaigns, to offer consumer a true value for them to enjoy life more. So let's see what we're having here now.
Yeah. Pardon me, I'm not so used to wearing this Britney Spears microphone. But, it's just an exciting brief, right? Like every time Han would come to me and say, let's stop selling beers, you need to take that brief really seriously, but with a lot of fun, right? Like, and what Han said, like Heineken Silver is your refreshingly smooth antidote for Gen Zs. So how do we do that, right? How do we engage them in there? Okay. So, being paid while enjoying our beer, how does that sound, right? No other beer brand does that. And that's how we got Gen Z's attention about this campaign, right? And because we are the refreshing, smooth antidote for them, we needed to refresh the way that they wanted to get paid. for enjoying with our beer. And today, that currency is the digital currency, right? But as we all know, crypto is sometimes a bit rough, right? If you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of ups and downs. So to smoothen that out, we have to make sure that our currency only goes up in value, only evokes fun, and can enable the Gen Zs to get money can't buy experiences. And that's how we engage. So we launched the eCoin, right? And it's the first of its kind digital currency in Vietnam that is exclusive for Heineken Silver drinkers. And before I talk more about this, let's watch this video.
Heineken Silver has stopped selling beers. What? Why? Because our young audience doesn't give a so we swap beers with experiences, and obviously Gen Z live their experiences virtually. But this is a time where virtual value is getting a bit rocky.
Crypto obviously right now getting crushed.
Investors getting jolted by volatility rippling through the crypto world.
The cryptocurrency is sliding this morning following a tweet from Elon Musk.
So Heineken Silver created the eCoin, Vietnam's first branded digital token that gives Gen Z an up roller coaster ride of experiences that evoke slacks. How could we do that? We put eCoins in every Heineken Silver beer and let Gen Z hunt for them through a mobile integration of AR, 3D mapping technology, and gamification. We turned all Gen Z's hotspots into eCoin havens, pavements, convenience stores, beer gardens, bathrooms. Let's not go there, but you get the idea. We gave values to the eCoins only Heineken Silver could. The collected eCoins could be used to cop the coolest drops. To make it super limited, we started collaborating with the holy grail of Vietnamese Gen Z icons. Binzi, Tuliver, Fungla, and Quang Vu to produce a collection of smooth gears, and poof. The gears were gone faster than you could finish a can of Heineken Silver. And just when they thought that the value of our eCoins couldn't get more priceless, we collaborated with one of the most famous custom sneaker designers in LA, Dominic Chambrone, aka the Shoe Surgeon, to drop an ultra-limited 6 pairs of sneakers with actual Heineken Silver in their sole. Come on, you must have seen the hype on social. They're snatched. Called Heineken Kicks, they were worth more than what most Gen Zs have in their bank accounts, making the shoes the most sought-after sneaker drop in town.
Shut up and take my money.
And the eCoins, the most hoarded digital tokens in Vietnam's history. The more they engaged and bought Heineken Silver, the more eCoins they got. Its values kept going up, linking the virtual to physical world, making Gen Z rich in money can't buy experiences, and making Heineken Silver the most demanded beer in town. 12.6 million eCoins mined, 35% over target. 6.2 minutes average time spent on the platform through Silver 6-pack, up 200% versus benchmark. Unprecedented 23.35% conversion rate, up 10 times higher than benchmark. 260% increase of Silver 6-pack case sales compared to 2021. More than 42 million liters of Heineken Silver consumed. Market share doubled in key markets. While the campaign showed that walking on beer is an experience that can't be bought, Heineken Silver proved that they are the GOAT beer brand for Gen Z.
Seeing that video sometimes still makes me depressed because no matter how close I am to Han, she still wasn't able to give me those Heineken kicks, But just goes to show and proves that how exclusive those rewards are for our Heineken Silver drinkers, right? And at the heart of that is mobile, right? We turned their mobiles into mining machines, and it made it a very engaging activity to hunt for eCoins, right? With that combination of AR, 3D mapping, and gamification, we were able to bring engagement into a whole another level. Yeah. And see, this could easily be just another campaign for Heineken, right? But we had to refresh that as well. We had to refresh campaign thinking and turned it into platform thinking. So by being able to convert and combine Gen Z cultural truths with innovative creativity, we were able to open a whole new space for the brand and for its drinkers. And right now, just proud to say that Heineken eCoin is actually a long-term platform that will continue to reward Gen Zs with world-class elevated experiences. And that's their story, and that's how we became the GOAT beer brand for all Gen Zs. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for sharing. What about the dance now?
What?
Where's your dance? You guys were supposed to dance.
We have it in the gala night.
Yeah, in the gala night.
Gala night?
Served it. Yes.
That's a promise?
We're winning, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Round of applause to these guys. So that brings us to the end of the morning session. As I said, the lunch is served at level 1. It's the Asia Cafe, if I'm not wrong. Can we have the slide here for to show the directions? And we will be back here in about an hour's time. We have a great lineup of speakers in the afternoon, kicking off with the MMA Global presentation, and then with a couple of very interesting presentations. There's also a presentation on mental well-being, which we thought was very important. We've all gone through COVID. Personally, professionally, it takes a toll on every individual, every person. And we thought it was a great opportunity to get a professional here to talk about what should you be doing from a mental well-being perspective within organizations, personally, with teams, etc. So that's a very interesting session. And I wanted to make sure that I mention that right now so that you don't miss that in the afternoon. We have a doctor who's going to talk about how one should approach mental well-being in organizations and personal and social professional life. We also have a couple of other sessions around innovation, cultivating innovation, cultivating leadership with innovation, and towards the end of the day, we have a couple of panels. So please do feel free to come back as soon as you can, and we would. So Saigon Cafe, not Asia Cafe, sorry, it's Saigon Cafe, and we'll see you in about an hour's time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.